night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Oh, look at me. I'm retarded. I'm a globe.
The whole system is designed to disconnect you from your intuition. Why? Disconnected people are easy to manipulate. Everything from sunscreen to politics to the food industry. It's all designed to disconnect and manipulate you. We are in the middle of a war right now, but it's not a traditional war. It's a war on consciousness. It's a war on freedom. This is the time to listen, not to the news. No, your intuition, your gut, your heart. Love is the greatest weapon against darkness. How do you love more? You begin by loving yourself. How do you love yourself? You listen to the messages your body is telling you.
Nobody is coming to save you. Get up. Be your own hero.
I'm scared, Dad.
Do you trust me, son?
Yes.
Come on, son. Rule number 1, never trust anybody.
I am struggling extremely with mental health issues, and I am trying to do that whilst being FTFE. And unfortunately, talking to flat earthers is quite painful.
All right. Thank you, Craig.
Riverside, wait for me, wait for me. I'll be coming home, wait for me.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, coming to you 250 miles above your imagination from the International Fake Station up here in this IT nightmare, flying along level across this beautiful plain, and with my good friend and co-host, Something Wong, who keeps it loaded in the bong. Yeah, I'm a rapper and I didn't even know it. Look at here, I got Lowry backstage already. Look at this shit. We got all these people back here. Look at here.
Hey.
Shannon Emerson's here. Brad and Tasha. Toshiro Miffins. Celtic Bear. Wesley what is that? Grandlinard. I hope I'm saying that right. Something been witnessed hundreds of times already. I don't know. Let's see. Bear Jews with us. Eldon Bean. Heresy Seed. LJ. Brad and Tasha. One or both. Either way, we're glad to have them. Make Stupid People Famous is here with us tonight. The True Few. There's my buddy Saddle Bum. Charles, I'm sorry that you aren't feeling very well tonight. You didn't make it up on panel last time, and this time you're sick. I don't know. It's starting to sound like excuses to me. Anyway, we got Mojo, Mr. Mojo Rising. We got Shane 187 Thompson is here with us tonight too. Chilling. Let's see who else we got that I haven't caught. Bear Jew. Let's see. I think I mentioned that. I think Eldon Bean's here with us as well. So we're live right now. I just went ahead and I did it on Facebook as well as Rumble and here on good old YouTube. How's everything going tonight for you there, Lowry?
Man, I'm good, man. You'll have to let me know. I'm operating on kind of a Band-Aid studio after the theft thing. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, you sound all right. Sound good.
Cool. Yeah, I'm on this is a new studio, so as long as you can hear me, I'm good. How are you doing, man?
Fire and frog hair split 3 ways, babe.
I couldn't help myself tonight because like you're getting down to the basics again, and that's like where we need to go.
Mm-hmm.
And like I knew it was going to come to this. I knew it was like we're going to have to wind this back down to how we got started and all this.
Mm-hmm.
And like the show you did the other night was just spectacular. It was just like, let's focus in on what we got, like what got us here, why we started this way. And I can still see people arguing in the chat or whatever. But anyway, everything's good.
That's all right. Let them argue. The thing is, and the indoctrination is so deep. This is what cracks me up. Is these people will get so angry and fight and just be total shits to defend something that they don't even have a firsthand observation of. And I've got, I think part of it is that you remember when you was a little kid and he made the little styrofoam ball solar system and all that shit in school, and you knew all the planets' names and all that, and tell grandma and grandpa or something, or mom's friend, and they always say, wow, you're so smart. I bet you're going to grow up to be a scientist or an astronaut, and they carry that. That means a lot to those kids. And here we are taking away their smart.
Yeah. And I'll be the first to tell you, man, like I was a space nerd, man. I did my first kindergarten science project was Play-Doh, and it was the solar system, and I got a blue ribbon, and like that set me on a 35 to 40 year obsession with outer space. I'm a musician, but a lot of musicians just love the idea of outer space. They sing songs about it. They do all these things. And giving up the outer space religion was a toughie for me. Star Wars. What about Star Wars and Star Trek and all this crazy space stuff? It's so hard to give up.
Being a space nerd like I was anyway, back in the day, I'm watching Star Wars. I'm loving the entertainment value, but I'm sitting there picking out all the physical problems, even up to and including, explosions don't make sounds in space, man.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like that. And, how are they sealing this little cockpit up and that kind of thing like that? Never once really examining our own crap.
Yeah.
And how we take the physical impossibilities, and the two most glaring basic physical impossibilities of a globe Earth is, well, first and foremost, that of a fluid of a gas pressure system without physical containment. I'm sorry, you got to have containment. You can't even have a leak. I mean, if you've got a valve that's leaking in your car, it's not going to run good. It's not going to run right.
And we should explore that ad nauseum, but I want to keep to your point of the Star Wars. They really blew it on the new trilogy, the first one. I'm not talking about how well the movie was or not. It's actually the second movie they really fucked up. So first of all, they were dropping bombs from space on a space ball. So apparently, way out in their orbit, the bombs were going down to the planet. This was funny. This was funny. But they really fucking blew it when Princess Leia flew out of the thing, froze to death in space, then used the Force to get back in. That was never part of Star Wars. They never paid attention to what space allegedly really is. They just kind of fluffed it off. They actually tried to address it in that. I think it was the Last Jedi, whatever the second one was of the newest trilogy. I was like, oh, you guys fucked up because you crossed over your fantasy realm into, the NASA fantasy realm. And you crossed those things over and you blew You blew the topic. You blew it.
Yeah.
And if you didn't see it then, if you didn't understand how they fucked up, you're still lost in Spaceballs. And I was a Star Wars kid, man. I was a Star Wars kid. I'll admit it.
Oh, I loved Star Wars too. I mean, I think I like the underlying plot of it more than anything. The special effects were pretty cool and everything like that, but the underlying plot to it, the story to it, it's timeless.
It was originally designed as a Western in space. It was supposed to be a Western movie only with spaceships. That's really what the initial kind of like thought in George Lucas's mind. He's like, we need you to make a Western, only we need spaceships. So he did, and he made one, and he managed to bring the desert into it, and then bring space into it. And then it was just the subtle underlying propaganda or space stuff that we've had for 70 years. And again, all you globies out there that are listening, man, I'm sorry. I know it sucks. It sucks giving up space. It really does. I wanted a lightsaber. I wanted to be Han Solo. Okay. I'm right there with you.
I thought Luke was a whiny little bitch.
He was.
I really did. I was like, what a whiny little bitch, man.
I know.
I liked Han Solo. He was like, he was cool. He didn't put up with no shit, and you could tell he was just like an average Joe type guy,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some of the shit. And I'll tell you what, and another thing that I got to was like R2D2. Okay, I call bullshit on R2D2 because anybody that's ever tried to pull a shop vac around, fuck you. You know that as soon as he ran across the pebble, he was done. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, have you seen these little sweepers that run around? We've got one here at NDB's place, and that thing half the time gets stuck under the dishwasher.
Oh,
it's like what?
No, I got
those things.
Dog. I got this little dog that takes care of that, man. I swear to God, she'll eat anything.
Oh, that's great.
Anything that falls on the floor, she grab it. That's it. And she's just little. She's like this little scavenger. We call her Roomba half the time because she does that. If you're hitting, you don't have to worry. There's no crumbs under where you ate. I guarantee you, there's no crumbs because she's small. She finds them, gets them. But the glaring impossibilities that it's because they blow this stupid mythical shit at you at such a young age, and they keep blasting it at you. Gravity, and it's like, what is gravity? I never could wrap my mind around, like when I was in school, I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense to me, man.
That was the magic. That was the black magic.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I guess, these people are smarter than me, and there's people that have done all this research or anything. And that's where your mind goes, and you just accept it. But when you lay it down and you start asking these clowns, well, what is gravity? Well, we don't know.
No idea.
Or mass attracts mass. I had somebody today on Facebook. There's some real winners on there, boy. I got to tell you. They always want to bring up Cavendish.
Right.
The famous Cavendish, not an experiment.
These are the lead balls hanging in a barn that there could have been any reason that they are attracted to each other, but it's just like the only thing they've got. Cavendish.
Well, exactly. I would be embarrassed. I would be embarrassed if I'm sitting here 25 years, a quarter of the way into the 21st century, and the best thing you got is some janky ass bullshit from the 18th century created by this guy who ate lead. I mean, for real. So you start looking at that and it's like, what the fuck? So I had to get into the thing. I said, so you believe that's science? And he says, yes. And I said, okay, well, let's see how far down the scientific method it actually went. Okay. So we first make an observation of something that occurs in nature, and you develop a hypothesis as to why you think that's going. Then you do background research to see, has anybody else checked into this, right? Then the next step, the fourth step, or sometimes the fifth, is then we conduct scientific experimentation, testing of the hypothesis. So you mean to tell me that this crackpot just went right to the fucking experimentation without ever having an observation? No one has ever witnessed two objects drawing near to one another merely by volition of their existence. That's ridiculous. Nobody's ever observed that before. And then they say, well, you see stuff drop to the ground. Wait a second. Who would ever come to the idea of mass attracting mass because you dropped shit? You never see it occurring anywhere else or any other thing in the world. You nothing. You know, and so then you're going to, and a lot of people don't know, Cavendish wasn't trying to prove mass attracting mass. He was trying to calculate the mean density of the Earth, which is still a fool's errand.
Yeah.
How do you even know what it's comprised of? You know?
Well, yeah. And they don't like, you know, they don't like Michelson Morley at all. They don't like to talk about that, which is probably the greatest physics experiment of all time. And the numerous amounts of null, basically, it's what's been done like 600 sometimes, or maybe even more, and they always get the same null response from it. There's no measurable motion, and it's really the most brilliant physics experiment of all time. But what you really see, and like going back to the Star Wars thing, and you know, just the development of a religion. I mean, what did you expect was going to happen when you put Jack Parsons, Werner von Braun, Walt Disney, Aleister Crowley, and a few other people in a room together and say, you know, it's that Jesuit priest. What did you expect that was going to happen? What did you expect?
A drug-fueled homosexual orgy.
And they're like, let's make a religion. And everybody will believe it.
Like L. Ron Hubbard did, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just like, that's what happened. And then they had to, of course, you know, over the course of time, they had to invert reality. I always talk about inversion. That's my favorite topic. And they had to invert it perfectly. I mean, they really, truly did have to invert it to such a way that they curved a straight line.
Well, when they run all this bullshit on you, like I said, those bullshit answers that they give you of gravity, you know, and it's like, wait a minute, hold on a second here. Why didn't gravity hold my gases in a soda can I opened up at lunch today? Why did it go psh and suddenly equalize with the outside pressure? What caused that to happen? So why didn't gravity keep it in the can?
You're gonna corner a physicist, and he's gonna behave like a wild animal.
Well, tomorrow night there's going to be a debate here on my channel at 8:00 between myself and a guy named Mike Vargas. Mike is in he's a huge Michael Toon defender.
Oh boy.
And he's on he's in several Facebook groups, I guess, on Facebook regarding flat Earth. And he challenged me. I said, okay, great. So I set up the time and everything. He confirmed with me. It's been posted in the groups already. So that's tomorrow at 8. And this should be a lot of fun.
Because I wonder what he's going to come with. I really do. Like, what else is there to come with? I mean, these things have been run. They've run their path. They don't have anything. They just don't. Like, what's he going to come with? Seriously.
I don't know. We'll find out when he does. Godheart Guardian said, did he pay you $250? No. See, if you come on my show to an impromptu debate and you're not one of these regular fucking retards that we see on every fucking debate that's irritating and not human, I ain't going to charge you nothing. Your first one's free. Your first one's free. Just like crack. The first one's free. Okay.
You're a bigger man than me. I'm demanding $1,000 for anyone that wants to debate me. I'm just putting that out there.
Well, he seems to think, and here's the problem that all right, this is what I've noticed over the years watching these fucking idiots operate. It's totally dependent on the reversal fallacy.
Mm-hmm.
Wanting you to prove a negative. Prove that you observe a level Earth. Wait a minute. No. Everybody observes a level Earth, okay? Some clown came along and said, hey, guess what? It's really a globe. Well, that goes against my observational reality. I'm sorry, you're going to have to prove that. And then they'll always point to, now this is the one that gets me too, because I just got into another one with somebody on this. I said, you need to reconcile the physical impossibilities incorporated in your globe Earth belief. And the two most glaring ones are the convexity of large bodies of water and, of course, a gas pressure system without physical containment. And what do they jump to every time with that one? We have a gradient.
Gradient, yeah. Ye old gradient. That's my favorite one. It's like, come on,
like,
guys.
Well, what kind of a gradient is it? It's a pressure gradient. So pressure must be present in order to have the gradient, correct? Yes. Well, you can't have gas pressure without physical containment. That's just natural law. I'm sorry. You're never going to get around that one.
Somebody should actually, I mean, maybe you do this tomorrow night, but like the actual real debate happens in the very first centimeter of the timeline of the debate, which is the default position is clearly we don't feel like we're spinning. Yep. And while we have mountains and canyons and deep oceans and everything else, we know that water seeks its own level and all blah, blah, blah. We've all heard these before, that it appears that as though that it's flat. It appears in aggregate that it's flat. That is the default position. That's what any kindergartner would tell you if you didn't tell them it was a ball. That's Nicole. We don't live on a gravitron. But what you have is you have basically a debate at the very start. It's like we're now already, you said, debating a negative already. You've already inversed the conversation we're going to have. Mm-hmm. You've already inverted it. So now what are we going to do here? Because now you're saying that we're making a claim that actually appears to be real to us, observable.
Well, no, we're not making a claim.
That's what they're claiming that we're doing.
Well,
they're claiming that we're making a claim.
They're claiming. I made an observation, and the observation is the default position.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never observed a globe Earth.
Me neither.
Sorry. I experience no movement. Contrary to my experience and observation, you claim that it's not what I see and it's not what I experience. Therefore, that has the burden of proof. Now, keep in mind, I don't have to replace your fucking bullshit with anything. You have to prove your bullshit. Because that's what they'll do. They say, well, we have a gradient. And I said, okay, well, so what? I says, create or cite an experiment that proves that gravity can have any effect on gas behavior. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And there isn't one.
And I explored this a little.
Yeah. So they'll say, well, what do you think causes the gradient? I said, doesn't matter what I think causes the gradient. That's how I'll lead you right in the right direction, though. Can you think of any other factors that would reduce the pressure of air? Hint number 2, we had a cold snap. I went out, got into my vehicle. I started it up. Now I'll be goddamned if it didn't come up and tell me that every one of my tire pressure was low. Now, wonder what happened there, because it was all low by the same amount. So did somebody sneak up in the middle of the night and let the exact same amount of air out of each one of my tires? Or do you think it might have been the cold fucking air? Yeah. That's one thing that'll reduce it. Now you have a combination of things going on.
And here's another one, Saab. I wanted to like bring this up. I brought it up with you. I can't remember what show we were talking on the other night, but we had talked about everyone's had this experience where you are standing, say it's on a dock, and there's a boat next to you, and the boat begins to move, but you think it's the dock moving.
Yeah.
This also happens in traffic. Okay. You'll have this where you're sitting in traffic and you're kind of, you're phased out because you're thinking about other things. Suddenly someone reverses next to you. It makes you feel like you're going forward and you have a freak out, even though your foot's on the brake.
I did that not long ago in a parking spot. I pulled in, and just as I stopped, the car next to me started pulling out. And my response was to jam down harder on my brake.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what everyone's first response is. But I wanted to point out something that we don't talk about that much, which is we talk about the lack of motion or detectable motion of the earth. But with the indoctrination part, in order to get in there early and often with a child in kindergarten or before, you have to get to that very, I don't want to call it like your very basic part of your brain that controls the minimal functions of your body or whatever, your perceptions and everything else. But you got to get in there and fuck that up early in kindergarten. And what do? You tell a kid that they're moving when they're not. And what happens, what fucks up a person, and it fucked up most of us, for like all of us in this community where, up until 10 years ago, we were still spinning. And it makes all of your decisions based on a spinny thing. It spins up your subconscious. It spins up your decision making to a point where you can't make a proper decision. Ultimate goal being, I would hope, self-realization of like how good of a person you could be, or what your goals are, or whatever you're. It's all based on the fact that you're moving, and it destabilizes your soul. It destabilizes everything from the time you're 7 or 6 or whenever you saw these space balls. And this Michelson-Morley thing, it's harder for people to understand, but like we don't cover the motion as much as we cover, the fact that we can't find any curvature or gas pressure. But the Michelson-Morley thing, if a lot of people can learn how to talk about it in a way that everybody understands it, I'm even still trying to learn it. And it's taken a minute to actually understand what it is, but it's like, that's where they went in to fuck with everybody. They had to get you before, right at the very beginning, and say, hey, you're moving. And then you can't make any sort of solid decision about any life decision ever. It affects the rest of your life. Like some of us were really lucky to actually break out of it. Maybe the brainwash didn't take hold of some of us, and some of us got there earlier, some of us got there later. I happen to think there's a lot of people out there that are breaking loose of that MK Ultra shit, Rockefeller.
I hope so.
But like that is a really important thing, and I like talking about, especially the dock thing. It's like, is the boat leaving, or am I standing still, or is the dock moving? That's what they did to your brain when you were in kindergarten with this Spaceball shit. They fucked with the very basics of your actual intuitive evaluation of the world, where you would have said, no, I'm not moving, and I think it's flat. There's some mountains over there, but then it goes to be flat again, and then there's some ocean which lays level, and we all know that water seeks its own level and that sort of thing. And we probably would have thought we were on an island in the middle of an ocean, and maybe there's more land out there, but they usurped it very early, and they did it in a very nasty way, which is to tell somebody that they're moving when they're not.
Well, and they gained your trust.
Yeah, because
they gained your trust. You think about that when you're a little kid and you're getting ready to go to school for the first time, and your parents have a little talk with you and tell you that you're going to be going to school, you're going to be learning stuff, and you have to be quiet and listen to the teacher, because she's going to tell you stuff that makes you smart and shit that you'll know, that you'll need to know, right?
Yeah.
So you are under the impression that everything you're getting from them is truth.
And here's the most twisted part about it is your teacher didn't even know the difference, because their teacher told them the same thing.
Right. The programmed are programming.
So twisted.
Robots making robots.
Twisted thing, man. And you do it over generations, then no one will know any better. I mean, these guys have all the money and time in the world. They'll be like, fuck it. It takes 5 generations to get people to think this way. We'll do it. And they did do it with the heliocentric model. They managed to pull it off. We're just a small group of rebels here right now, but like it's like they did fucking pull it off, because even the best of us believed that shit for me at least 40 years. Yep. I believe that shit.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you? Everybody else does. And that's the thing. I'm going to show you this thing I found too with these sheep going around in a circle.
Yeah, you show that. I'm still going to be here, but I'm going to go smoke a cigarette outside, because I can't smoke inside at NDB. So I'll be here.
But first thing is basically what we're on, right, with these physical impossibilities. And this is a great one here. This is regarding gas pressure. And I just ran across this today. This is really good. I'm going to close these so you don't have to look at all my friends' ugly mugs. Anyway, see, we got to have sound, right? There we go.
In terms of space, the most common scale used is torr, and it's expressed as 10 to a negative number, meaning there are a bunch of zeros after the decimal point before you get to the numbers. At sea level, 14.7 psi equates to 760 torr. And if you could achieve a perfect vacuum, which is not attainable, 100% vacuum, it would be considered 0 psi. Now, bear with me here, as it's important to understand the conversion from psi to torr, and then back again to put it in terms that we are accustomed to, in order to fully understand how strong the negative pressure would be in space. That, again, is if space exists as we are told it is. To crush the tanker car, the air pressure was reduced from 760 torr to 176 torr. That is 14.7 psi down to 3.4 psi inside the tank. The Kármán line, as it is called, is considered to be the boundary into outer space from Earth, and it exists at approximately 62 miles or 100 kilometers above the surface of the Earth. At this altitude, we are told the air pressure is 10 to the negative 3 torr. That equals just 0.000002 psi. Up to the Kármán line, the environment there is classified as a quote-unquote low vacuum. So if we were in a capsule of sorts at 62 miles above the surface of the Earth, we are told that the air pressure being applied to the outside of the capsule is down to just 0.000002 psi. But
that's at the Kármán line.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's where go past that and you poof, you're up in space.
And if your alarm bells are not already going off and you know what these alleged space vehicles are actually made of versus, say, a submarine, which has an entire machine shop on top inside of it to make sure that it doesn't implode from the opposite kind of pressure underneath the ocean, then you understand how space is so stupid.
Yeah, absolutely. But this gets worse because they supposedly went on the moon with these fucking suits. Oh, I had somebody tell me today, oh, it's only 5 psi difference. I was what?
Pressure inside the capsule, if we took off from sea level, like most rockets do, would again be 10 tons per square meter. How do you think the capsule we are in would be able to withstand 10 tons of pressure per square meter on the inside of the capsule walls trying to get out with just 0.000002 psi of back pressure? Do you see where I'm going with this? And this is only at 62 miles above the Earth. From 10 to the negative 3 torr to 10 to the negative 9 torr is classified as a quote-unquote high vacuum. And the scale is not linear. It's exponential or even logarithmic. The largest and most powerful vacuum chamber in the world is located at NASA's Glenn Research Center in Sandusky, Ohio. According to NASA, their massive vacuum chamber has the capability to reduce the air pressure down to 10 to the negative 6 torr, which is 1,000 times stronger of a vacuum than 10 to the minus 3 torr at the Kármán line. And it takes many hours to pump the air out to get down to 10 to the negative 6 torr. And the facility has 6 to 8 foot concrete walls reinforced with a leak-proof steel containment barrier built in so that the concrete dust and no air can be sucked through the walls and into the chamber itself and ruin the vacuum they are trying to create. If you were able to reduce the air pressure further inside a chamber, then you are getting into the quote-unquote ultra-high vacuum classification. This is 10 to the negative 9 torr and above, which is approaching the level of vacuum we are told exists on the surface of the moon, which is an astonishing 10 to the negative 11 torr, which is the numbers 100 million times stronger of a vacuum than the Kármán line. Now, those numbers were given, but perhaps those are just estimates since we've never been there and can't simulate that here on Earth. Some interesting notes about the Glenn Research Facility, which we are told is able to simulate 10 to the minus 6 torr, still 100,000 times weaker than the surface of the moon, was built in 1969, the same year Apollo 11 allegedly achieved putting 2 men on the surface of the moon. But if you really dig to find out when the world's largest vacuum chamber was first open, you'll find out it was actually in October 1969, 3 months after Neil and Buzz allegedly walked on the moon. And even then, we are...
So this means that they could never have tested the suits.
Ask yourself why they never train any of these people inside of these giant vacuum chambers the whole time, and if they were going to go up there and do it to begin with.
Yeah, but they went in July of 1969. This thing wasn't even operational till October.
Yeah, so how did they know how anything was going to behave inside of a vacuum at all? They never tested it to begin with. The one time they put a guy inside of a vacuum chamber, he almost died within 20 minutes. Like his tongue boiled or something. It was crazy.
Yeah, they can't move. They can't. They get stiff. They can't move. It's terrible. It's bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit. There's no vacuum. There's not there. That's horse shit. This is just the stuff that they make up.
And the more you look at it, the more you can see the bleeding between the fantasy of Walt Disney, Narnia, whatever those guys were dreaming up, and into the NASA world, which is supposedly the real thing. It all bleeds together in this mesh of half truths and half bullshit. You know, they managed to keep this basically bullshit parade alive for 50 years with this crap.
Longer than that. Well, I mean, as far as the moon landing, less and less people are buying into that horse shit every day. But what I've found is rule of thumb with this inversion shit is that whatever they are saying it is, it's the opposite of that. Okay. So they say there's nothing, that it's a vacuum, right? The space is a deprivation of matter, right? Which tells me that it's the opposite of that. And it matches up with the waters above.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is there something there, there's a lot of something there, right? Now these people are all the time saying, well, where is your containments? I said, above you. And they said, well, I don't see it. And I said, yeah, you do. Every time you look up at the sky, you see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's because your brain is telling you that that's some fucking fictional bullshit outer space or something. Doesn't mean that's what it is. You're looking at the fucking container.
You know what? Something else is fascinating that we don't get a lot of like we get lightning storms and we get thunder in New York City, but not since we've been out in Kentucky have we experienced big thunder, big Midwestern thunder and big Midwestern lightning. And, you know, when you hear a big thunderbolt or it's thunder in general, the sound, that thing is echoing everywhere. And it's so huge. It's the most massive thing you've ever heard, you know, other than maybe, you know, a bomb going off near you or something. But you got to wonder, like, all of this echo and everything that's occurring when you hear these huge explosions in the sky. If there wasn't a container, those sound waves would just disappear out into the Narnia spaceland, you know. But you don't hear that. You get these reflections of sound, and everything comes back at you, and
echoes and shit.
You're like, wow, and it's so huge and giant. It's such a pleasure, especially if you're an audiophile like me, because I'm a musician. I could sit there and listen to that thunder all night long, and you hear it, and you feel the echoes going off into the miles and coming back. Like, what's that shit hitting off of?
Yeah,
what's that shit hitting off of? I'd like to know.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I know. That's incredible. That's incredible. How's Roger doing tonight?
Doing good, man.
Hey, Roger.
I want to take a spacesuit to Sandusky.
Would you go in there and test it out?
Man, after the boy started gassing out and he started losing all his moisture, I'm going to go with no.
No, I don't think I'd be doing it. I got some funky shots here I run across today. There's a piece that shows one of the recent blasts off with a piece of it hanging off like cloth and flapping in the wind and shit. It's supposed to be a metal panel. I mean, this is just like, you have to, once you realize what's going on and you actually look at this shit and you go, wow, that is all like childlike belief. All that shit is just like children's belief system of some kind, like Santa Claus. It really is. And I feel bad for these people because they're fighting hard to defend it. And it's like, well, how, right back to my famous question of, if nobody ever told you that you lived on a globe, what would make you think that you were? Nobody can answer that honestly with anything. They always just say, well, I guess nothing. Well, there you go. That's why we have the default position.
Yeah. So when I was in Discord just recently, what the kickback I'm getting is a lot of geodetic surveyors dialing in their numbers. That's what they want. So you may get that kickback from this guy. I don't know.
I ain't worried about a geodetic surveyor. They have to take sections of plane surveys, stitch them together, and then mathematically add curvature.
Yeah, they want to calculate everything. They push that really hard. And I was debating one of them a little bit in Discord. I showed them a couple of videos that had it all the calculations added, but they said they want it in real time instead of after the fact. They're getting real picky, but they gave me a video. Like, they wanted me to watch. Like, okay, they didn't want to watch mine. I'm not going to watch yours. That kind of thing. Well, I didn't want to go crunch through the numbers in the middle of the debate.
Well, no, and it's ridiculous anyways. You want to prove convexity? Here's what you do. Get your little theodolite and a guy with a marker pole and show me convexity 360 degrees around a single point. You could do this on any frozen body of water. All you have to do is show convexity consistent with the radius value given, 360 degrees around a single point. You don't want to do that? Well, let's see you fly, all the way across to Antarctica, right? They're not going to ever do that either. I mean, the point of this thing, the whole thing is, it's not a ball. That's just all there is to it. That is just like really fucking stupid. I mean, I never used to think so until after I looked at it and really started thinking into it. And this shit with the pressure, I'm sorry, babe. You're not going to have any of that. And this is the thing. Well, they claim gravity does it. And I'll say, all right, well, if it's gravity, then show a demonstration or cite the scientific experiment verifying that gas behavior is affected by gravity. Go ahead. Create a gas pressure system, gradient or not, I don't care, without physical containment. If you can do that, then we can accept that as a possibility. I say, you don't understand, it's too big. That's what she said.
The people that we've been dealing with for like the last, I guess, 5 years or so, they at one point in time wouldn't even admit that water vapor is a gas. It just shows you how intelligent they are.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's following the sheep in front of them. That's all. That's all. Well, let's get through this thing, and I'll show you how sheep will do that.
We're told the vacuum on the surface of the moon is 100,000 times stronger than what even NASA's best vacuum chamber could achieve. Once you reach even the quote-unquote high vacuum classification, this is what we are told the Glenn Research Facility can achieve, 10 to the negative 6 torr. You need vacuum seals like these. On the left, which are metal and comprised of one-time use materials. They are needed to seal in a high vacuum area. On the right are the helmets seals of the Apollo missions. The latch fits in the groove for easy installation. The connection does not have the capability to compress the seal and logically would not function even in a low vacuum. The gloves of the spacesuits have a similar type for an easy connection. The surface of the seals must also be virtually perfectly clean and free of foreign materials for the seal to even be effective, or it will fail under such a low-pressure environment. The Apollo astronauts using the same suits covered in dirt for 3 EVAs, it would be impossible for the suits to work and reseal multiple times. The same is true for the hatch for the lunar module, as they had to crawl through, dragging dust and dirt with them. The door seals would not be functional. The LEM could not be pressurized after re-entry. In this image here on the left are examples of seals used to, again, contain a vacuum. On the right is Neil Armstrong's glove. The connection that holds the glove to the suit are just like a door latch that pushes out into a channel. They do not compress the seal between the metal. This design is for an easier way of putting the suit on and off during practice, and of course, simulations. This connection, however, would not even hold a small amount of pressure. The fact that the LEM did not have an airlock means that any container within the craft had to be designed to withstand the vacuum of space, which we are told, again, was 10 to the negative 11 torr. This is a complete error in simulation, NASA. The food pouches would explode as the aircraft depressurized, as well as the urine bags and feces in the jettison bag. Any other containers within the craft for air or for water would be subjected to the vacuum of space and would suffer the same consequences, and probably pretty dramatically. Here is a typical NASA fanboy or fangirl explanation, however, of why the ultra-high vacuum of space isn't a big deal. That when you walk out into space in your spacesuit, it will want to expand. But how strong is that pressure? It's only 1 atmosphere, so not that strong. They're specifically designed to keep the suit from ballooning out. And that, folks, is where the deception lies. This is the type of statement that...
And I apologize for the little tiny writing and shit. I'm going to try to find the bigger version of this that fills the screen. I hate Facebook Reels, and I hate fucking TikTok.
Even blowing it up, I can't read it from here.
I can't blow that out. None. That's why you got to listen to what he's talking about.
Gives when describing the vacuum of space. NASA tells us that the air pressure on the surface of the moon is 10 to the negative 11 torr, however. And this equates to nearly negative 2 billion psi, because there is almost no back pressure at all. Not the 14 psi you will see in the comments of many videos on this subject. Do the conversion yourself, people. 10 to the negative 11 torr equates to negative pressure of 131 million atmospheres.
And you know what? When you're talking about, the alleged 10 to the negative 14 torr or whatever it is for space, that people who haven't broken free of the space brainwash just cannot understand is that when you have a rocket, it pushes off something in order to move forward. And when you don't have anything to push off of, you don't go anywhere in their alleged Narnia, Star Wars land, Star Trek land, and that's when you get into, people will be like, well, it's just pushing off the own spacecraft. No, that's just not how that works. There's just nothing to push off of. You cannot navigate in a vacuum. And they always want to pull up this one proof where it has a vacuum chamber with a rocket inside of it. The rocket starts to go and it doesn't move, but then it starts to move. They like this proof a lot. But if you notice, it doesn't start moving until the propellant inside the vacuum chamber hits the end wall, starts pushing off itself, and then it starts rolling. And it's like, you guys, clearly you have not looked at this subject enough to understand it. It's Narnia Spaceballs nonsense that anyone's traveling anywhere out there. They're not going through space to black holes and Mars and Elon Musk land. They're just not doing it. And the sooner you can sort of grow out of the fanboy NASA nonsense, the better off you be. The better off you be.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what it is.
There you go. This is another thing about it too, because you need that. You have to have something to push off of.
Yeah.
Right. And this is the one you're talking about right here, I believe. Yes.
Yep.
All that is a
video.
What is it? A needle.
What I was thinking.
Injector.
Rockets don't work in a vacuum. There's nothing for a rocket to propel off if it's devoid of particles in a vacuum. As you can see here, the rocket only begins to move when the gases physically push off the chamber, the vacuum chamber.
But they love that proof. They love to pull that proof. And it's just like, dude, just look at the thing again.
Should have immediately started moving the second the gases came out of it. But it only started to move the second the gas started to equalize inside the vacuum chamber and push off the walls of the vacuum chamber and cause it to move. There are no physical walls in space.
There you
go. They love that proof so much and they hang on to it. And it's just like, man, look, dude, I like Star Wars too, man. I get it, but it's like, it's time to get over it. I'll ultimately, like with McTool and, these other anti-flat earthers, what I really want to ask them is like, dude, how much are you getting paid for this grift? I really want to know, like, if they actually paid me to debate them, I really would just ask them, like, how much are you getting paid? Because we're all wanting to know. We want to know, like, what's your cut on this thing, man? Because it's like, it's clear that you're just not paying attention to the evidence. You don't care. You're deflecting. You're doing nonsense. You're getting people fired. You're doing all this, what I would consider to be just kind of demonic high school bullshit of getting people fired from jobs. Really? Like,
I know, right?
What kind of person does that?
Here's the thing, man. You start fucking with people's livelihood. You start fucking with their kids and their family and shit. And you keep doing this to people all the time, doing it to different people. Sooner or later, your chances of running across the wrong one is going to happen.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that when something does happen, the list of possible suspects is so huge that they could never narrow it down to one person.
They just take advantage of the fact that a lot of the people in the epi crowd were very patient, because we had to learn to be patient, over the course of all these years, learning this new stuff. And so we're very patient, and they take advantage of it. But there's going to be somebody in every crowd, doesn't matter what it is, they're going to lose their shit. And you don't want to wish that upon anybody, but it's like, I mean, the kind of stuff that they're doing is just, it's WWE stuff. It's like wrestling kind of stuff. It's like for the clicks, man, for the clicks. Well, yeah, but this is like a big deal. Like what we're talking about is a very, very big deal. And eventually you're going to catch somebody.
This is just a picture from Unilade Tech. It says that a Harvard scientist claims ancient civilization on Mars was wiped out by a nuclear attack from an alien race. Now, how in the fuck do they know any of that shit?
Let me tell you something about this shit. I spent 2 years before Flat Earth even came into my world. I spent 2 years with this guy named Richard Hoagland on YouTube, and he was the guy.
I know who he is. He's a fucking plant.
Oh, dude, totally. And like, I was so ashamed of it. I wrote a song about it called Mars, just because I was so pissed off about it. 2 years looking at all these different things about what had happened on Mars. It was all just a farce. It was a grift, and like all these things coming from Mars. There's a whole bunch of people that had these channels on YouTube that were really big about what happened on Mars in the distant past and everything else. All bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
All of it. Anyway,
that shit with the face on Mars and all that, they were really pushing that there was a civilization there and there was
pyramids.
And,
yeah.
And then they started getting real big. That's where they started having that ancient alien show with the hair guy. And man, and they come on there and talk about, could Thanksgiving have been invented by the aliens? Yes, it was. Everything he said, like it was definitive. He knew. Right?
But also, if you look at that guy, he's got a perma smile on. He's got a shit-eating smile on the entire time he's doing all those episodes. And you don't really think about it until you realize it's Duper's Delight. And you can always spot
Duper's Delight. He's been microdosing mushrooms for about 15 years.
I know, right? Like, who do we get to host this show? It's this guy. This is the guy we get to host this show.
Something about his hair. He's like got Einstein hair. This I thought this was funny. This other thing came up, said giant kites could pull cargo ships across the ocean and slash their carbon emissions. And then it's like, isn't that what they've been doing for like thousands of years any fucking way? What the
what the hell's a carbon emission to begin with, man? Come on.
Oh my God, you can't make this shit up, man. You just really can't.
And the more you see it, the more you experience it, you realize they really are just comedians. I mean, the people doing these, I guess I could say the devil is funny. He's still the devil, but he certainly has a sense of humor because wherever they're operating from, I mean, these NASA articles have gotten so far off path that it literally is comedy. It's literally comedy, like between shoving your thumb in the hole in the space station. That was really good. That was really
that was so goddamn stupid because I knew, just like anybody with more than 2 brain cells to rub together.
Mm-hmm.
When they said that, I laughed my ass off. I went, no way. Because where they're at, okay? And we just watched a pretty lengthy little video on pressure. Now that Billy Joel song just popped into my head. Pressure.
Oh, yeah.
So here they are up there, supposedly in that devoid of atmos, while creating artificially inside simulation of the atmosphere on Earth, right? And that little hole. And I'm thinking back to all these movies people watch, and here they are, somebody in a jetliner, and the hijacker shoots a hole in the side of the plane, and that's it. Everything gets sucked out the fucking plane right away, right? Here they are, and thousands of times, millions of times stronger of a vacuum versus the pressurization of a cabin. And there's a little hole from a micrometeor. Where did it go? Where did it go? Did it embed itself into something inside of there?
Well, you would think a micrometeor moving at the excessive speeds of their alleged orbital speeds of 17,000 plus, you would think that would create I don't know, just nothing short of a bomb. Even if it was the size of a grain, I mean, shooting through that thing would rip everything apart, even at the size of a sand grain.
It would have turned anybody near it into soup.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just all there is to that. That's reality. And let me tell you something about that. When I was a kid, I learned a really valuable lesson, but I got in a lot of trouble too. My mom had a pot roast cooking in a pressure cooker with the, with the potatoes and carrots and everything in there with it, in the pressure cooker.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fascinated by that little thing on the top going like that. And it looked like a Tinker toy. It looked like one of those connectors for a Tinker toy.
I can see where this is going.
And I reached up there and went to grab a hold of it. It was hot. And when I jerked my fingers away from it, I can remember, I pulled it clean off. I saw pot roast turn to liquid, shoot out that little fucking hole. Carrots and potatoes all over the ceiling, just as like a fluid.
I bet your mom was furious, dude.
Oh, she was mad as a wet hen.
I used to do the same thing with my grandparents' house. I would sit there and watch the pressure cooker and watch that thing spin.
I tried to blame it on the cat.
I mean, it's a darker part of this rabbit hole, but if you really want to find out how strong vacuums are, I mean, anyone out there can go look up what happens to people that are working on basically pipes under the ocean where a vacuum seal breaks and there's only a tiny little hole and you've got workers in the other section. Everything violently gets sucked through a hole about 6 inches deep. And what's left over of the people in these accidents, you don't want to look at it, but this shows you the power of a vacuum, a true vacuum that's created on Earth, because it basically takes everything inside one and it pressurizes and it equalizes. And it doesn't matter what you're made of. You'd have to be made of major steel. You'd have to be Superman to survive it because it just sucks everything through the 6-inch hole. And whatever's left on the other side is what's left. And it's usually soup in pieces. It's gross, I know. But the
principles, listen, my buddy makes resins and waxes and shit from weed, right? And he uses a pressure system to extract that shit with. I mean, the same principle is what we're talking about right here. A pressure differential wanting to pull and draw that through, but the other matter can't get through. Only the wax and fluid can get through. It's and we're supposed to believe these people are just up there, but this is why they always have to, in every movie production, TV show has bloopers. Well, so do they. The only problem is they're always doing it live. This is kind of crazy. Watch this shit.
Nice. My mind always goes to National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation when Chevy's in the dam and he pokes a hole in something and it starts leaking through and he grabs some gum and sticks it over the top of it.
Well, that's essentially what they're saying they did up there when that hole happened. What did you say? You put duct tape over it, or?
Mm-hmm. Well, duct tape. They have a kit or some kind. But
Gorilla tape. I wonder how much 3M paid him for that.
Fascinating, man. It's just and all this stuff is out there now, and I remember, a lot of us have been like looking at this stuff for a really long time, and I have a lot of conversations with a lot of people about this part of the subject, which is like, how do you drop something so huge on somebody that hasn't even looked at what happened in New York in 2001? How do you drop something this life shattering? It's not really shattering. It's a paradigm shift for anyone when they haven't even gone through the first 30 to 50 steps of getting up to this point. That's really kind of why I like, you're getting back to the basics, Saab, which is, let's talk about what's understandable at even a basic physics level. We know how water behaves.
We had, of course, you were here when my daughter and her friend Shelby came on.
Yeah, it was a great show. I love that show.
They're going to probably come on again sometime this weekend.
Yeah. You guys kind of practice sort of like bridging the gap between somebody who's never engaged in this kind of talk before, you know.
Those are the people I'm reaching out to. Those are the people that I want to talk to, because those are the people that, you know, they're not. See, there's three types of people. Okay. There's people that know that the earth is flat. There are people that think that it's a globe. And then there are people that hate the people that think that the earth is flat. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That's basically what we got. That last group, I don't have no fucking time for them really a whole lot. I'm going to entertain one tomorrow just because here's a whole bunch of rope. Hang yourself.
Any of you guys remember when they were on the moon and they actually were out hitting something like a rock with a hammer, and you could hear the sound?
Yes, they were putting a spike in the ground.
Yes,
some kind of a sensor in the ground, and you could hear it going chink, chink, chink. And they tried to say that was coming through the microphone of the astronaut.
Yeah, I don't buy that. Sound wouldn't travel at all in that kind of a vacuum anyway.
Well, they say it traveled through the oxygen in his suit.
Yeah, the fun one is like the fun one is their air conditioning and heating situation.
Yeah,
on it was just like they weren't carrying enough power on board, not just to broadcast through, you know, Narnia space back to Earth, but they are also like they needed to be able to run an air conditioner and a heater.
Here's the problem with the air conditioner. Can you put an air conditioner inside your house and close it up and have it work? No, it has to be drawn in another source of air.
And when you're blasting that, you know, an air conditioner pushes, it's basically drawing. Basically, what an air conditioner does is it removes heat. Am I speaking correctly on this? It's like say with your fridge, you're talking about removing heat. And the hot air goes outside, so you stand outside and there's an air conditioner outside. It's blowing hot air on you, essentially.
Right.
All right. So like, but here's the problem with that: is in space, if they're venting anything out, it's just going to suck everybody else out with it and turn them into soup. You know, it's just like, come on, man. Like, how did you ever think of this? It's like,
well, it's just like they say, oh, they're getting all their oxygen replenishment by electrolysis of water. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. But isn't water 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen? What are you doing with the hydrogen?
Yeah.
How are you venting that out?
Don't strike a match. I'm telling you.
No shit, man. Hindenburg 2.0 going on up in space.
It's so funny. It gets funnier and funnier every time you do a deep dive back down into all the elements of it. You know, it's
man.
You know, like a lot of people like to talk about the phone call from the Oval Office and that sort of thing. It's like, no, well, yeah, but it was routed to a radio and like everything else. I was like, dude, I can't even get cell service half the time when I leave out of town. And you're going to tell me they're talking 200,000 miles away on a battery source and a tech that's not even remotely as good as an old Casio watch from the 70s. It's so stupid that people believe it because it's so, the lie is so big, they fucking buy it. They're like, that's so stupid, it has to be true. I'm like, no, it's actually the stupidest thing you've ever been told, and it's time to stop being retarded.
Well, that's got one of the remarks that probably got Gus Grissom vaporized.
Yeah. Oh, when he put the lemon on
not just that, he actually said, how in the hell are we going to get to the moon if we can't even communicate between 2 buildings?
Yeah. What happened? Go ahead.
It was 2 or 3 buildings, actually, the way how he said it. And I was on Walmart on the radio one night, and I said that because they couldn't get a hold of me. And everybody's like, how are we going to land this thing on the moon if we can't even communicate between 2 or 3 buildings? And my manager came talk to me, like, what are you trying to say? Well, you know the story, don't you? Gus Grissom.
Yeah.
He said, don't say that over the radio. Yep. Yeah, that's what it was. Yep.
You better not be a flat earther.
I'm no longer with the Walmart Corporation, thank God.
Thank God. As you was working for the devil, dude.
They're still fighting my unemployment right now.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Of course they are. Walmart was the Walton family was one of the biggest contributors to the Clinton campaigns, both Hillary and Bill.
Oh, there's an interesting thing with that too, because that was all based in Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
And you also had the airport. It was Atlanta Airport. where they were flying in all the drugs and that was the Nicaragua thing in
Contras.
The Contras. It was all happening in this same general area where the Clintons were located. And I've heard talk of this, and I'm not making any claim, but that's like Arkansas is a big stronghold for those in power per se, or at least it was, back then.
Mm-hmm.
And so Arkansas is also awesome. It's full of people that they're strong on their own. They don't need government, especially in the Ozarks. But it's interesting. That's what they could get away with in Arkansas, was like basically funding rebels in Central America and also flying in drugs and that sort of thing to fund the CIA. So,
man, listen, I knew a woman. She lives out in Wyoming now, but she was from Hot Springs, Arkansas, which is actually where Bill Clinton is from, not Hope. Hope is very near Hot Springs, but that's like where that's the Dixie Mafia. It's like the Mecca of the Dixie Mafia is in Hot Springs. And she said she'd been to parties where Bill's brother, Roger, you remember Roger Clinton?
Yep.
Where that motherfucker would be there snorting up fucking rails upon rails of cocaine. He would come in with like big fucking pack of cocaine and just lay out huge rails for everybody. So where was he getting at, I wonder?
I think Bill might have something to do with that at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know the history of why Old Man Bush was called Poppy Bush?
Because of the poppies.
Running out of Afghanistan.
The heroin dealer. Yeah, man. He smuggled heroin. We'll get into the political side in a minute, but I'm going to also put out there too that Operation Zapata is what they called the Bay of Pigs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And George Bush and his dad, Skull and Bones friend, were partners in an outfit called Zapata Oil that operated on an island right between Cuba and Florida.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's some wild shit. Anyway, let me go on with this here, and then I got a couple things, and we'll get into some of that. There's a Clinton body count fucking card game out there now.
Yeah, even like my sister, who doesn't like pay attention to a lot of this stuff, her husband was like, I did heard it's kind of weird, I don't know anybody that has that many friends that committed suicide. I was like, hey, now you're waking up a little bit. Now you kind of feel like, because it's just impossible, right?
And in such bizarre ways too, like impossible ways, like shot yourself in the back with a shotgun while hanging yourself. How the hell does that happen?
Didn't they find some guy hung in a tree, and they said he hung himself in the tree and shot himself?
That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah. That was the most recent one. Anyway,
that's believable. Yeah.
Here's the space bloopers. Hey, man. Who's got a glass of water?
Good afternoon, all the students on Earth. I'm Judge Gang. I'm the commander. Good afternoon. My name is Ye Guangfu.
Did you hear about the security guard that actually worked out there back during the 60s, I think? And he released all the papers showing evidence that they created a moon set out there. And he got cancer, died, and he gave all his paperwork to the son. And his son finally got cancer himself. And then he released all the documents to the
shit.
Yeah.
Check this out. This is
Savi froze. The whole thing's froze. And here we sit frozen.
Looks like are we frozen, Roger?
Yeah, you are. You're moving now.
I'm
There
moving?
you go. Now
We're back. We're back.
I had to take I'm taking a quick break. I'll be right back, but it looks like it's working again.
Yeah, everything's back again. I'm showing an unstable internet connection. Oh, now it's back good. So anyway, did you see that thing on the side of this? Hang on.
No, I didn't get to see it yet. And we're froze again. Wow.
There, is it back?
You're back again, yeah.
God damn, every time I try to show that, it kills my internet connection. Now we're back normal. All right. So let's test this again.
All right. Let's see if it's
Let's see what happens. Hang tight. Wow, this thing is really pissing me off. What is going on here tonight?
I have no idea, dude.
All right. Bear with me for a second. I'm going to change to another VPN.
And it did it again.
All right, switch to a different country. Am I back?
Okay,
Nope,
I guess you're back. No.
What the fuck? God damn it, I don't understand. Are we back yet?
Yeah, your digital is lost a little bit there. You're like Pixel. Your video's going out.
Yeah, the thing is showing that I've got a shitty internet connection. You guys, you two talk amongst yourselves there for a minute. And what I'll do is I'm going to restart this fucking thing. It's going to piss me off, but I'll do it anyways. Hang with me.
I think Lowry's smoking a cigarette anyway, so I'm going to be
Yeah, I'll be right back. Just entertain the people for a minute.
Sure. And Saab is gone. He's going to come back. Lowry, you there? No, he's not there yet. I got nothing to say right now, except no, nothing. I can't think of a thing. I'm drawing a complete blank. Hey, singer. I'm going to start singing now. What do you want to hear? My microphone's not made for singing, but entertainment. If I could share a video with you, I would. Let's see. I can't present. That's all just me now for sure. Hey, Lowry, you there? Nope. I'm just going to stare at you guys for the next 10 minutes. Hey, Alan, how's it going? I love those dolls, dude. I got to get me a set of them. Jim Anus wanted to add another doll to it. He wanted to add, what was that? The community bicycle or the village bike?
Right. I think we're good now.
I was running out of things to say.
You did. Hang on,
well, I was talking about the new they got a Duffy doll and a Jaron and Austin doll.
Yes, I saw that. I'm
Alan Norstrand and Eddie Banjo put up. That was a good one.
All right, so this is the one I was just trying to show. It's only 11 seconds, and this thing was giving me a rough way to go every time I tried to show it. Let's see. Phew.
Bless you. Oh, I see it. What is that, Sob?
Yeah, right. What is it? Exactly. Exactly. These people sit there and argue with me. They go, oh, I said, they talk about that chopstick catch that they do with the rocket, you know, the Mr. Miyagi. And I'm like, that shit fake as hell. And they're like, oh, no, you can go there and watch it. I says, have you gone there and watched it? No. Well, why the fuck you want me to go to watch it? And how close do I get to it anyway? They don't want to talk about that. They're always wanting you to go somewhere. You go here. You go to Antarctica. You go to Florida. You know, and I'm like, fuck you. I don't have to do shit.
Yeah, I get you. They like, what's your ideas? They don't want to give you theirs.
They go, why didn't you go to Antarctica? I'm like, why didn't you? What are you asking me questions about, man?
I volunteered to go, and they didn't even take me.
But here's the thing. The people that went on that were picked long before they even announced the fucking thing. Okay, that's what people got to understand. These people were already selected to go long before it ever even took. It was just a show, like they were trying to get people to go or whatever, make it look like that. Because there was actually some legitimate people that could have gone. That when he had his little golden cookie or whatever the fuck it was. And he had somebody there. He had his own filters. He's been making solar observations, all this shit for about 10 years and all this other crap. And boom, he was the first one to go. Who are we going to take? We're going to take Bambi Eyelashes over here. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You know?
You got to be careful what you call her because everybody's going to come after you. Don't call her anything.
So here's what blind obedience looks like. And this is what I'm talking about. This is why people believe the globe. Because they just follow the next guy in front of them, man. Watch what they do with these sheep. This is crazy. No sheep get hurt in this.
All right. I take your word for it.
And McToon, if you're watching, try not to get sexually stimulated.
Wow.
Now, see, that was interesting. We had a couple of them over here that stopped, and they were going to come out of the ring like that, and all they had to do was just be, pushed a little bit toward the ring again and back in it they were at. And this is what they got. They got us just chasing each other around in fucking circles, just like this,
around
man.
the fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking lamb chops, dude. That's what I'm thinking. That's a slow way to cook your lamb. Just run around the fire.
But that's how people are. And that's what this thing, because most of these people have never stopped and thought about it. It's because they figure it's the popular consensus. They learned it in school. They were told they were smart because they repeated back what they were told. Never had a fucking firsthand observation of it. It's constantly pushed at you. And so when somebody goes against the grain on that, this vitriol reaction that happens is what amazes the hell out of me. It's like, I would be like, because like when I was first hit with it, the guy, he said, did you know the earth's flat? I said, yeah, right. Okay. And that's it. I just left it at that. He goes, no, really, it is. I goes, yeah, right. Why are you fucking with me? What are you talking about? And he just says, well, the earth's flat. And I was like, okay, then, I wasn't going to beat him up or fight with him. I was like, well, this guy's just crazy and thinks the earth's flat. And he goes, no, I'm serious, man. Look into this. So I told him I'd look into it. I was like, finally, he got me into an argument with it. And I was like, all right, I'll debunk this shit. I'll get into it. I seen it on Facebook, and I was like, oh, there's people on here talking about this, because prior to him coming to me, I didn't know anybody that thought that. And I'd see a post about it on Facebook and I go, huh, and just pass by it. I didn't think anything of it. I was just more of the silly shit you see on Facebook. But then I was like, oh my God, wait a second. These people actually really believe this. You got to be kidding me. Really? And then I started looking into it and I was like, oh, no shit, I'm the dipshit. I'm the dipshit. Wow. I never even thought this shit out, Yeah. Just going by. And a lot of it is people are afraid also. See, this was the whole thing why Toon and these other clowns were so hard on the attack, the character assassination campaign, because they can't refute the facts. So they have to rely on character assassination. And they know that most people respond to that kind of shit by backing away, or nobody wants to be made fun of, right? Nobody wants to be called names. Nobody wants a bunch of people ridiculing them. And then they run across me, who doesn't give a fuck. If I know something's true, I'll die on that fucking hill. That's all. I don't care what you got to say. And it only shows you to look worse and worse when you end up proving yourself a stalker, where you're stalking people and their families who have nothing to do with it at all because what? You see? And perhaps if you wanted to be opposition, if you weren't such nasty little fucking twats, we wouldn't make fun of you. There wouldn't be things like, oh, fuck, I don't know, like,
Wait for me, wait for me. I'll be coming home. Wait for me.
See, there wouldn't be things like that,
It just baffles me. It's like, as like having spent so much time hanging out with you cats and a lot of different circles and everything else, it's like it's remarkable. It's either stupidity on their part or they're being paid a lot of money that they would ever want to go through the gauntlet that is FE land. Because, like, I mean, I'm sorry, but some of the smartest people I've ever met have been in these communities. And like, do you really want to do that? Do you really want to start a fight with us? Because we've been really patient for a lot of years, and we've entertained. I'm speaking to you, McTool, and other guy. I just don't even remember his name. That's how much I don't care. But it's like you guys really want to start a fight with us, and you're pushing it now. And we've entertained your debates for a lot of years. We've done a lot of things to try to get the facts. And now, like, we're about to the tipping point where we're going to go on the aggressive, and it's not going to be pretty, and it's going to, it's not going to look good. And it's like watching a cornered animal behave. That's the best way I can describe it. It's like they're cornered animals, and they're either being paid a whole lot of money to make themselves look like assholes, or, they're just that stupid. I just can't boil it down to anything else other than that.
Yeah. Well, what I can't get is like, well, there's people that have legitimate questions. And like we saw with Shelby and Cassidy last weekend. And, I like that kind of conversation. I like that. You're wanting to know about it. You're not coming in with it, oh, yeah, like a prick. And that also, those are questions that I'm sure that a lot of people have. And so even like, first timers and stuff like that, that's why, like you said, we're kind of going back into some of the basics of this, it's easy to lose sight that there's new people coming in. And if you're new to the subject, and you come in and you're already, getting hit with the high level aspects of it, you're going to kind of cringe away when you kind of keep it in the same sense as the 200 proofs,
Yeah.
the simple shit that people, it just plants seeds, and one of those big ones is, like I said, a gas pressure system without containment, without physical containment. And what they always try to pin you in, their whole thing hinges around a reversal fallacy. They want you to prove a negative, and we went over that the observation is the default position. I don't observe a spherical Earth, and I feel no motion. Okay, your claim goes against my observations in reality, so they require the proof. Well, what they'll do is like that. They say, well, the first thing they say is, well, we have a gradient. Yeah, and what kind of gradient is it? It's a pressure gradient. So there must be pressure in order to have the gradient. Yes? Yes. Okay. Well, you say you run into the same problem because you need physical containment for any gas pressure. All fluids require a container. Not all containers are suitable for every kind of fluid. Gases and liquids are both fluids. What can hold a liquid will not hold a gas. But what will hold a gas will hold a liquid. They don't understand it. I had somebody say, well, what contains the oceans? I said, the basin.
What's fascinating?
Like, well, what's on top? And I said, the air. And he's like, well, that's not a container. Yes, it is. A bowl is a container. A plate is a container. A glass is a container.
It's fascinating when you're talking about I think a lot of people in this community are also, we love cartography. I've always been into maps. I know a lot of people I've met really love maps. But I found an easy way to cross the barrier with a lot of people that are curious that don't know how to handle the topic is everyone's always romantic about the sea. Everyone's romantic about ships out at sea. And everyone's really romantic about lighthouses. And, there's a whole subgroup on the internet that love lighthouses they're like birdies, only for lighthouses, right? And then what you do is you walk it back and you're like, they're super cool, right? Like a lighthouse on top of a rock in Iceland. How'd they build that? It's so crazy. There's so many good stories about lighthouses, right? And then you start to talk, you're like, well, like if you're in the sailing business and your profit is remove your tchotchkes, you want to make sure you don't hit rocks. You want to make sure you know where you're going. You navigate by the stars because you get out there and you have no more land to refer to when you're out in the open ocean. So of course we navigate by the stars. But lighthouses were built for a reason, and they are made for a reason, to guide you into port. And you have to be able to see those things. So what do we have? Like you see them from distances of 60 miles away, sometimes 80 miles away. And then you can start to talk to them about, curvature math and why it doesn't work in this current situation that we're in, because literally those lighthouses exist so that people don't die on the rocks and they deliver their tchotchkes to wherever they're delivering it to. And people that are in business will understand. It's like, yeah, I don't want to wreck my ship. I definitely want a lighthouse. Now we've got GPS and maybe lighthouses aren't that important anymore, but they were, and maybe they still are at some level. But you need to be able to see them from a long way away. And even the tallest ones, at 60 miles, they're be hidden by.
They're not much different than what airplanes use. They have, you see runway lights to guide you into the airport, right? They see those on the ground. Oh, there's the airport, and there's like a big arrow pointing down which way they're supposed to go and shit. It's the same thing, but for ships.
Yeah,
and they knew that it was flat, of course. Otherwise, they'd have to build it much, much taller for ships to see it much, much further away, right? Which they still wouldn't if you're hidden behind a curve. You can't see around a corner. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So and also they used to, something else. A lot of these old lighthouses, they had that shaft that the light turns on, right, would be sitting in a reservoir of mercury, so it didn't have any kind of resistance when it was turning.
Nice.
I did not know
The
that.
cool thing about lighthouses for me was the lenses they put on the thing.
Oh yeah. Those are insane, man.
Yeah,
Those
super focused. Like you can, when you go up to see it up close, you could see the rings of the optics, super focused. And once it actually hits you right in your eye, it's like boom, almost laser like.
Neo Drifter, how you doing? Chicago Cubby Bear, what's happening tonight, buddy?
Oh, hey, good. I was just listening on you guys. Good conversation.
Cool.
I was finishing up crap out in the yard, but that's just how it goes. But yeah, go on, carry on.
You what Neo Drifter said here in this, I'm assuming referring to like Jaron and that crowd there. It says, yes, after many years in the non-globe Earth community, they figured out there's no money in it and you don't have a real job or work. So you go for the money, which is the globe. Simple. These guys won't work. And I was, yeah, that's a fair assessment, I would think.
I agree.
I agree too.
You know, I mean, myself, I do this and I work. So, you know, I do good, and I do, it's good, honest work too, you know. And it's
I don't know about you guys. I wanted to like ask you about this because my only answer, like to especially family members and friends of mine, are like I know this is your passion. And it was like, no, like music is my passion. This just happened to get in the way. And they're like, so why are you so passionate about it? Well, so it's not really a passion. I felt like it was an obligation. I don't know if you guys had the same, because I'm not making any money off this. And it's like, but I felt obliged to do it because I understand it. And I can at least piecemeal it together in a description that maybe, you know, normies can sort of understand. You know, I could get all tack on it.
I declared war on any form of tyranny over the minds of men.
There you go.
That's simple.
I think the lies and the BS have been building and building and building to a breaking point, and we've reached it. And it's it's like, you know, we're done with this. It's like now we got to attack a little bit, but yeah.
That zit popped.
Yeah, it did. Indeed. It did. You know, when I first broke through 10 years ago, I was like, this is going to be the biggest thing ever. Like 3 months, the world's going to change 10 years ago. And I'm like, man, it's going to take a lot longer.
Yeah, man, they're deep in it. There's a lot of money.
Americans
involved.
know that the U.
I showed this the other night, but I want to show it again because this is kind of crazy. All right. This is stuff people just don't take into account, right? And check this out.
Not all Americans know that the US and Russia are actually much closer to each other, just 2 miles apart. And more than that, they are even connected. Sometimes, and here is why. The countries are separated by the Bering Strait. And if we look closer here, we can see 2 tiny Diomede islands which are 2.4 miles apart and divide the mainland of the US and the mainland of Russia. Little Diomede belongs to the USA, and it is home to one of the most isolated towns in the USA called Diomede, with a population of 82 people. Big Diomede belongs to Russia, and it is uninhabited. Only military personnel are present. Therefore, Diomede is the closest American town to Russia, separated by 2 miles of water. And the point is that in the winter, the water freezes and creates an ice bridge between the 2 countries, and thus making it possible to cross the border by land. Interesting that there is an international date line between these 2 islands. The difference between them is 21 hours. And if you cross the border from the US side, you will be in the future and become a kind of time traveler.
Yeah.
21 fucking hours?
Yeah.
Tell me they're not hiding land. Come on.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting point. And like, I want to leave you with this because I need to go get some food, but like, we understand the world by cartography, either the Mercator projection or the AE projection. I'm not abandoning the AE projection. I think it's a fine working tool moving forward. There's a lot of stuff in the Pacific Ocean. There's a lot of space where planes don't fly, where ships don't go, at least according to the projections that we see. I mean, who's to say what the hell's out there? No, who's going to go? Most people don't even leave their hometowns. Very few people travel, you know, throughout the United States, and very few even then travel, you know, worldwide, much less get in the ocean and go to the middle of the Pacific where all this big body of water is. I have no idea what's out there. Not a clue.
No.
Dude, they can take pictures on Mars, but they can't fucking find our U.S.
Nicole.
Oh yeah, how's that going? Anyways, how's your GoFundMe doing?
It's going okay. I mean, it's up and down. I mean, some days it's great, and then some days it's utter despair. You know, it's just things. We lost a bunch of things. So it's going. They stole our home in the back of it. Actually stole the whole truck, but we're making it through it. And, you know, actually like these conversations actually help a lot because it just gets my mind off of it. But yeah, I would say like, if you're thinking about cartography and you're thinking about, we only know the world by the maps that we've been shown, you know, and as far as I can tell, the AE projection is the best working model we got so far. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's the best one we have, and it works kind of with the sun calc data, and actually works with time zones pretty well, and it works with flight paths. So like, I'm happy to say I'm an AE guy until further notice.
The thing about the maps that gets me about it is with these people putting all their hinge and their shit on a map.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'll ask them, I say, well, when was the last time you used a world map for navigation?
Yeah.
Have you ever used a world map for navigation? No, you have not. No one does. No one does. Okay. That's the reality of it. They use regional charts and maps. Okay. They're not using a big world map. Nobody's got a globe on the fucking bridge of a ship. Nobody's got a globe in the cockpit of an aircraft. Nobody's got a globe in their fucking glove box of their car.
Yeah.
Okay. They have regional charts and maps.
And if you ask yourself, the real question is, it's like, if you're a captain on a ship, you don't give a fuck any more than 50 miles outside of your radius, because you want to make sure you don't run aground, hit a rock. You do that shit. You don't care. You don't care. You just want to make sure you don't sink. You know, that's why a regional map is much more powerful to you than an accurate regional map. That is, you know, it shows
of course, try to find, okay, I'm here in Virginia, right? Take your world map and find your way from my house to the Walmart in Winchester. Go ahead.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Get real here. You know what I'm saying? They always want to do like, you don't have a map. And here's another thing too. They say, you don't have a model. And I'm like, neither do you.
Yeah.
Yes, we do have a model. Okay, present it. You're always asking us to present our model. Present yours. They never will. Because they don't fucking have one. Yeah. They have different models for each one of the quandaries that come up.
Yeah, when I first got involved in this topic, most of what they take are just star chat charts and stuff, and they piece it all together. It's what you really get. Then they claim it's their model.
Yeah.
It's in the colleges. The Royal Institution of Sciences actually has like separate departments for each one of these things. It's not one model. It's like a whole bunch of models of different things.
That's, you know, Roger, that's how this whole indoctrination actually works and how they get people. Because I find that these people that go to higher education are worse with having any kind of goddamn common sense, being able to connect dots. Because their brain is so compartmentalized. They don't realize everything is connected. And it's just like if you have I've brought this up before. I'm sure we're all familiar with a dot to dot puzzle, right? Where you go from dot 1 to dot 2 to dot 3. And a lot of times, if you hold the puzzle away from you and just kind of look at it from a distance, you can pretty much make out what the picture is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But they can't ever do that. They can't step back and look at the whole picture. They're up here like this looking, oh, here's this dot, and here's this dot, and here's this dot, and I can't really see what the whole picture is. And that's what they're doing because they're so fucking compartmentalized.
They're blinded by it almost, right? What'd you say?
Oh, yeah. Well, over here at the university, I was in there using a sauna. It was during spring break a couple of years ago. And there were some faculty, professors that they were there, had been using the gym or whatever. And they come in and they're using the sauna too. And they start talking. One guy's a music teacher. Another guy is what was he? He was mathematics. And the other guy was physics. And I started talking to him and I said, you know, you guys, all three of your fields are actually the same field. You're like, what? And I started showing them how connected all three of those things are to one another. And that through the compartmentalization and keeping them separate, they didn't realize the true power behind what each one of them knew.
Yeah, because if you keep them compartmentalized, they can't ever connect all these things together, which is like, I think a lot of us, I think in this general community, didn't take enough of the MK Ultra that we were able to escape really getting lodged into some of those topics. If you get a master's in something, you're just kind of more brainwashed, but you're very useful to an employer that actually needs that skill. So you would be useful in that little tiny little trade, unless you're talking about astrophysics, and it's just a joke, you know, then they just jerk off to their own zeros, ones and zeros.
Astro porn.
Yeah.
Well, after Craig McNeil threatened me on Messenger and said that if he ever meets me, he's going to snap my neck.
Wow. He went that far, huh?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah,
he snap into a Slim Jim.
Yeah.
Dude, I wouldn't even worry about that guy.
Dude, oh no, I'm not in the least bit. Not in the least bit. You don't think I could be this mouthy of a motherfucker? And I'm the same here as I am in real life. Okay. I'm 60 years old and ain't nobody fucking took me down yet. Okay. So you think I'd be this mouthy if that was the case? No, I don't think so. I'm very confident in my abilities to do many different things.
You forgot to put up the doll.
But we'll see that. Oh, I'll get him. He says,
I'm going to alert guys. You guys keep
all right.
rocking. I'll be in the background. You guys have a good show. Cheers.
Yeah. Take it easy, man.
Yep. Cheers.
Hope you get your stuff.
I told him, I says, what do you do? I says, you just sit back on the fucking welfare. I said, you probably get one of them flake checks for being a crazy fucker, don't you?
Yep.
And he says, no. He says, I have this and that and the other, and I made so much last year. I said, how'd you make that much money working the fucking glory hole at the truck stop? He was getting mad as shit, right? And I didn't care. I was laughing. And I said, no, seriously, Craig, what marketable fucking skills do you have? What could you actually do? If you had to go out and get a job today, what the fuck would you go work at? Myself, I could just ride around in my truck for a little while and look for, hey, look, they're building a house over there. I'll stop in there and say, hey, y'all need some help? Here's who I've worked for. Here's some shit I've done. Yeah, sure. Let's see what you got. There it is, man. And I could do it.
Yeah.
I could do it.
You've got trade.
When is anybody ever looking for a fucking cabin boy?
Well, he can't even walk. He uses a cane to get around. He can't. He's got some kind of disability or something. If he isn't making money off all this racket.
Hey, he get that leg took off. He should try to be a pirate. He could be a pirate. Put a peg on there.
Butt pirate.
Yeah, he already is a butt pirate. He's a hiney pirate. I was like, no. And I says, even if somebody did hire you, nobody could stand you long enough to keep you around. I mean, think about it. You're a detestable human being. You really are. Well, it's not you, Rasta. You're only this much detestable. I'm squishing your head. I can see you. I'm squishing your head.
How you doing, Rasta? Any protests today?
I'm good. Yeah, no, just been doing landscaping most of the day.
Me too. I did the same thing.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's
gardening work, but yeah.
That's good. Good, honest work. Get some good exercise out in the elements. I was spreading 6 yards of bark chips, and definitely sleep good after that. And then I went to my church and helped out there, doing a bunch of construction there, and needed some extra help. So
cool.
A bunch of people all pitched in, and they're ripping out. The people who owned the church before us had closed in all these cool stained glass windows.
Oh,
so we're reopening up the stained glass windows and doing mud, the drywall mud around it, and smoothing out the surface for painting. And
dude, I suck at drywall mud. I'm sorry.
No, I don't like it. But
I'm not a big fan of hanging the drywall in the first place. I mean, I'll do it, but if These people that do drywall all the time pisses me off because I watch them do it and it looks so fucking easy. You know, they just run along there like this buddy of mine. He does drywall finishing. And he just rolls right along there, man. Looks fucking totally perfect and shit. I get up there, try to do the same thing he's doing. I got glops of fucking mud falling on the floor and all over the place. I was like, And that shit just gets everywhere. That shit just gets everywhere, man.
I like to watch videos of people doing it. Yeah, I can do it decently. You know, I can do like a couple pieces of drywall, but like, yeah, those crews that get out there and do it, like they're just on point with it. They can do like a whole room in like a few minutes.
Oh yeah.
And they can carry those huge sheets of sheetrock by themselves, like it's nothing.
Oh, I'll show you a video here in just a little bit. And I got to show these things that Roger was talking about. Let me see where those at.
Oh yeah, they're cute.
It's all about weight distribution.
Yeah.
I used to work for a moving company. It was the same thing. It's like, how do you lift some of that stuff? It's like, it's all about weight distribution.
Oh, you did moving too? I used to do that too for years.
Yeah.
I've worked for numerous moving companies and loading anything from, you know, the U-Hauls. I'll still do a move like that myself from time to time if I get paid enough. You know, I'll assemble a crew and do it myself. But you know, I've loaded those huge semi trucks before too, and you know, they have to pack those things so tight because there's no second load with those. You got to pack every little crevice, and
it's like Tetris.
We even like had to strap a mattress and something else onto the back of the semi once.
There you go. Look at there. It says anal plug not included.
Oh boy, these things are popular lately. I keep seeing these everywhere.
Yeah, the toys that I've been enjoying this trend.
So they got that one, and then we had this one too, the Amazon Studio 15 cast action figures.
wait till you see Duffy. It's funny as hell.
I don't think I have the Duffy one. Do you have the Duffy one?
I can get it for you. Hold on.
Yeah, get it.
Shillinism. There's a little breath.
Yeah, this has been one of my favorite trends here recently, the action figures, and then you know
look at here with
the Mason symbol.
We got the Mason thing, Bitcoins.
Shillinism. Did you see where today he was trying to get fundraise money for Melodome to buy a new telescope, like some type of special telescope to do sun observations? And I'm just like,
DJ's with us.
I'm just like, who's gonna pay? First off, Melodome has a decent paying job. Like, why didn't he just buy himself a freaking telescope if he wants to? Like, why do they gotta try and grift from the community to get people to buy them equipment just so that they can say, see, this is why it's a globe? Because the sun says so.
Oh, we got Justin Credible has made it here tonight. We got DJ Moon, Unindoctrinated. We got new people who showed up. Look at there, nice. Justin Johnson, Truth Trawlette. Let's see, who am I missing here? There's a few people. I don't know how to say that.
Konnichiwa.
So you shall be known as General Chow's Chicken because what it looks like on my menu on the fridge.
I saw where this one meme where they're going to rename the General Tso's Chicken to General Trump's Chicken.
I saw that. No, just General Trump's chicken nuggies or some shit like that.
That was a good one.
Yeah, those
I'll put it back in private chat if you want to grab those dolls.
All right.
General Trumps.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'll grab that. Save image. Oh, it's a WEBP file. How the fuck do I get that as a JPEG? All right. Anyway, I'll just share this off the post. And let's see here. Stop screen. Present screen.
I think this is Eddie Banjo's brainchild.
Right here. TFE action figures. Collect them all. The Volume Studios. And here we got Whitsit. Comes with the cigars. We saw that. There's your breath. Schillinism. And then it sets. And who's this one? Duffy. The Will Duffy's in a prison outfit. No shit.
Yep.
Can you make me bigger?
I can't. What I could, if I save it, it saves as a WEBT file or something.
Oh, I see.
WEBP, whatever the fuck that means. Let me see if I can open it.
Well, does the bottom say Antarctic Nights?
Yeah, that's what it says.
There we go.
That's when you see the midnight sun, you know.
I don't think I can. Oh, wait. Did I save it?
Go bigger.
I think I saved it. Oh, no, I opened it, and that's how it opened. It didn't. There's no zoom in feature for that. I'm sure I'll see a JPEG of it here soon on one of the social medias. See, and that's the worst thing. See, like, they can't handle when people fuck with them.
No.
But they sure can dish it out to fuck with other people.
Yeah.
See? And the thing is that people often assume that other people are like they are. Okay? And this is like when you run across somebody who's all the time worried somebody's going to swipe something from him. He's always watching everybody and everything like that. Most likely that's the type of person that, given the opportunity, he would swipe something. You see what I'm saying? And so consequently, they think they are using a tactic that they know works on them, and they assume that it works on you. So they engage in the mockery and ridicule. Now, that tells me, see, that doesn't affect me, but they told me just by their actions that it does affect them.
What I want to know is, like, we all know Duffy isn't a preacher, but it's like, if he wants to keep up the facade, it's like, at what point is this guy gonna like actually do stuff at his church? Like, it's just like he's just totally involved in this whole flat earth or globe, whatever debate. But it's just crazy to me that anybody would even go along with the fact that he's pretending to be a preacher.
It's the Faginati, man. The
You got that
Faginati.
right.
It's part of the Faginati. Did you watch Ryan's stream?
Yeah, I rewatched it.
He's
definitely part of the Faginati.
He said to me in my messenger, he says, I swear to God, at the bottom of every one of these fucking things, there's pillow biters everywhere I look. And I was like, no shit. And then I ran across this today, man. We've talked about this before, but the first ladies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, those aren't ladies, dude. Hate to tell you.
Yeah, watch your shit.
What are you talking about, Roger? Beautiful ladies.
Look at
They're
them.
beautiful women.
I mean, that's a dude right there. That's a dude. For real.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that this dude's got all that money and he's got this dog ass ugly wife.
So David, that's David, right? That's David.
Yeah. Well, on the inverse, nobody ever questions whether or not the dudes are dudes. How do we know that?
They might be like really ugly broads, right?
Yeah.
God. Well,
I got another set of the dolls from Patricia Steer and everybody else too. I've put back.
Oh, you know what? I think I did see that one. The one with the Patricia Steer. Let me see.
I think we even got David Weiss over there too. Not in this one, but I got.
All right, I'll pull that up here in just a second here.
You might get a cease and desist for that one.
I don't know. Well, what am I gonna do?
Oh, I tell you what, man, don't please. Oh, please don't.
Yeah.
That's really coming real far.
Give me a break. Give me a fucking break.
It's just manufactured drama.
I know. It's like none of it matters to me. I don't even care. You know, what are you going to do? You're going to try to sue me. Oh, okay. Well, whatever floats your boat. You know,
Ooh.
They try to twist shit around. It's like you're never going to get that. Look, it's like, I don't know if you've seen it or not, Tunes accusing me of making a threat to him. I never threatened him whatsoever. And I'll say it again. When you fuck with people's livelihoods, their jobs, start stalking their family, start fucking with their family, and you keep doing this to more and more people, sooner or later, you're going to run across the wrong one. Okay? You're going to run across the wrong one. You increase your chances of somebody flipping their shit and doing something every time you do that. Okay? This is why the courts have metal detectors and shit in them now. They used to not have that. But they know that they've fucked so many people over that the chances of somebody coming back and exacting retribution are great. Now, in Toon's case, the problem is you've done this to so many people and you continue to do it, that when somebody does, and I'm not saying if, I'm saying when somebody does eventually break bad on your ass, the list of possible suspects is going to be so huge that it won't even be able to be narrowed down. In fact, when they start investigating into it and find out what a sleazy little shit you really are, they're probably not going to put a whole lot of effort into finding out.
Nobody's going to care, right?
See, these people got a TV idea of how police work. Okay? That's TV. That ain't how they really operate, babe. You better wake up to the real world. Holy crap, what have you sent to me, Roger?
Well, he's made himself a public
You'll
figure.
like them all. You'll like all of them, I promise.
That's another post here.
He's made himself a public figure, and it's like you come up here on these shows or whatever. I'm sure we've all experienced it. It's like people are going to say stupid shit to you on the internet, and it's like, you know, just take it with a grain of salt. But he's just doing it because it's you, you know. Basically, he's got a gripe with you, and he has nothing else to go on. So he's like, "Oh, Sav's making a threat." And it's like, get out of here, dude.
Well, that's part of his whole deal. His whole operation is to try and instigate and to trigger people into, you know, some type of response where he can claim things like you're making a threat and all this other stuff.
Yeah, that's part of his game too.
Here's the Patricia Steered. It's Steered CIA.
Floppy Davidson.
Paul on the ball.
Not Paul on the plane. It's Paul on the ball.
Floppy Davidson. That's pretty good.
Bitcoin.
Got another one he sent me here too. Let me see.
Are those being made on Chat GPT?
I have no idea. I won't play with Chat GPT. I will not participate in teaching the robots. I've seen all the robot movies, okay? And the robots always break bad and fuck up the people, man. That's
I mean, you saw that guy that, you know, he allegedly was murdered, that was about to come out with some information about Chat GPT about, you know, he removed himself from the project because
look at, they got flat earth on their fucking shirts that are with a rocket engine under them for the upward rising fucking bullshit.
What's that one? Not Chiquita?
Yeah. Oh man,
I wonder if and that's Dell.
Yeah, Dell.
Groundskeeper. I call him Groundskeeper William.
Groundskeeper Willie, I like it. Let's see. Another one too.
He's got that thick Glasgow accent, dude. You can't understand a word he says.
Yeah.
Half the time.
Okay, I already did that one.
I've been going on Notch again though and talking with him. He's all right. Except, you know, we don't see eye to eye about the elevator Earth theory, but
where are we going anyways? That's what I want to know.
I can't wrap my mind around it. I just, you know, I'll never be able to figure it out. Like, if people want to think that we're rising upward, then, you know.
There's Neil. Earth is pear-shaped.
Not a Professor Dave.
Not a Professor Dave. He's got a hammer and sickle shirt. That's beautiful.
He's a communist.
People are so creative.
They should have Axion on their little Axion coins.
I got that off Alan Nordstrand's page. He posted all that. I don't know if he made it or not. Yeah.
Anyway, check these broads out, man. This is crazy.
Have tapped their religion is to have their body become inhabited by demons. All right, that's what it is. I've read it. Okay, This is all documented. They use hidden coded language and symbols, but pearls represent the secret, the secret mysteries, the hidden gems, the secret sauce, the secret teaching of all ages, the secret doctrine, the secret societies. They have a lot of secrets. Well, it's hiding in plain sight if you have eyes to see it. It's right there in front of you. What is that? What are you looking at? What is that? Is that a man or a woman? Come on, it's not that hard. Now, obviously, this person resembles Aleister Crowley, so it probably is some kind of relation there. They're all kind of related somehow, right? And at the end of the day, they got some kind of special bloodline that they're preserving. It's androgyny, which means there's a controlled breeding program. They don't reproduce normally. It's controlled reproduction, new and improved, according to their beliefs. You got sperm and egg and synthetic biology. Whatever is going on, they seem to be enjoying it. All first ladies and androgynous alpha masses. Right? It's pretty obvious. Now, a lot of people say, oh, come on, man, that's just a nasty old woman. It's a nasty old man, all right? Come on, man in a wig, all right? And it's a secret. Don't tell anybody. Let's keep this video between you and me because it's just too disturbing.
With hands like that, I would arm wrestle her.
You like to reach over on a Sunday morning and grab your gear shift with them fucking hands. Come on, baby. Oh,
nobody's questioned Hillary yet, though. You wonder
It's
why.
a fascinating topic. They put it out there in plain sight, and that's how they get all their powers through just doing things as blatantly out there in the open as they can without people calling them out. And even if 20% of the people call them out, they still can keep on because the other 80% still see it, see the illusion.
Oh yeah. What was that thing I had? Another
Something
thing
needs to be done about it. These people are out there. Needs to be some real action on some of these people. There's some wild.
See, I just tend to disagree at this point. I think the only things that really need to be done are internal within each of us. Like all those things are never going to change. They're never going to change their prerogative or their mission. And for some reason, the Creator allows it to transpire.
Well,
I agree with you, but
really look at what the Bible says, though. The Bible says that Satan runs the earth. God created it, but y'all wanted to go along with that motherfucker? Go ahead, see how you do. That was basically what happened.
Yeah.
So that's who's running the world. It's not that he allows it. It's just that was the choice. That was the choice that was made when Adam and Eve partook of the tree. So it's like, oh, okay, you want to go listen to that motherfucker? Go ahead, have fun.
And see, that's why I agree with you about the AI. Because I think it's deeper than just like a computer program. It's like, I think it is very demonic. You're almost anything we do. Like the emojis or even the power button. To turn devices on are all sigil magic, and that's why it is Satan's realm, and that's why I think this realm that we're in is some type of a simulation.
Well,
you got to remember,
they got an
create
emoji.
Anything, dude. Satan can't create; he can only pervert it. So everything's God's creation.
I was trying to talk to Jesus Freak Computer Geek about the simulation the other day because, he talks about, he's real adamant about the Mandela effect and all these other things that. Talking about how even that space is not what we think. It's like some type of a spiritual realm. And I'm like, so you can say all that stuff's happening, but you won't come to the fact of like acknowledging that it's possibly a simulation. I'm like, how does that discredit anything spiritually? But the fact that, there's so much, like the Mandela effect, for instance, how could that even occur? How could things change? And, things get edited in real time and then there be residuals if it's not some type of program of some sort.
Well, check this out. This is your belief system right here. Oh, wait a second. And I hate that because you can't fucking back it up. Now look at why does it start muted? It's gay.
Standing still, but you're actually moving at 2.1 million kilometers per hour through space. Most people think the Earth orbits the sun in a nice circular path, but that's completely wrong. In reality, we're spiraling through space in a corkscrew motion, dragged along by the sun as it hurtles through the Milky Way at 828,000 kilometers per hour. If you were to mark your exact position in space right now and return in 24 hours, you'd be 57.3 million kilometers away from that spot. And that's just our galaxy. The entire Milky Way is moving at 2.1 million kilometers per hour toward the mysterious Great Attractor, a gravitational anomaly so powerful that it's pulling thousands of galaxies toward it. And we have no idea what it is. So the next time you feel like you haven't gone anywhere, just remember you're on a cosmic roller coaster, moving through the universe at speeds your brain can't even comprehend. You're standing still, but you're actually moving
speeds that your brain cannot even comprehend. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. You know,
I think that little video right there was clipped. I mean, it was all Neil deGrasse, whatever you want to call him, but I mean,
Neil deGrasse.
Yeah, that was all clipped and made for for him to say that in that little video there.
Yeah.
The universe, guys, it looks like a giant funnel. It's wider at one end, and it goes into where the Big Bang began. It's weird looking.
Sure.
It's like that thing you used to put the coin in and you watch it go around and around and around until it goes to the bottom.
I ran across this guy. Oh, speaking of your Mandela effect, this is let me see, who was that again? That I had that was somebody named Leonard Firestone put this up on Facebook here recently, and this is kind of cool.
Does he make tires?
Oh, look at there.
Good one.
Cornucopia.
We got the cornucopia.
Yeah, I'd be interested if this is a real one.
Yeah,
There's a lot of counterfeits going around.
Yeah.
Where they'll counterfeit it.
But I know there was a cornucopia, baby, because
of course there was.
That's how I learned the word.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know.
My mom was folding laundry. I was helping her fold laundry. I was just a little kid. And I was looking at that thing and I said, why did they put that basket on there? That's a weird looking basket. You know, and she was, you know, I was little enough that I was like, let's see, you know, naming all the different fruits on there. My mom said, that's right. And I said, what's that? How's that basket work? What's up? You know, I'm like, that doesn't look like any basket I've ever seen. And she goes, that's called a cornucopia. Some people call it a horn of plenty. I remember that. I went, cornucopia. I thought that's a really cool song. That's a cool word, man. Cornucopia. I like that. And so I was telling all my friends, you know that little basket on your underwear label? That's called a cornucopia.
Yeah. No, that's one of a lot of people's one of their biggest Mandela effects for sure. Because, you know, I remember that commercial, you know, that was one they would advertise more than almost any other brand, you know, the Fruit of the Looms. I mean,
Michael Jordan, man, he was one of their biggest sponsors.
All right, I got to show you all this.
Steve Haynes.
Oh yeah, you're right. My bad.
Yeah.
So I ran across this
Maybe
guy.
that's a Mandela effect too, though.
He does multi-track. He does multi-track. This guy does, and there's a bunch of different songs by him, but he does these multi-track a cappella songs, and it's amazing. Yeah, I'm going to play this one. This is him doing Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins, which was from the Top Gun movie, right? So this will blow your mind. And there's no musical instruments being used. This is all this one guy doing it with multiple tracks. Check this out.
touch and go. Highway to the danger zone. Right into the danger zone. Heading in the twilight, spreading out her wings tonight. Got you jumping off the deck, shoving into overdrive. Highway to the danger zone. I'll take it right into the danger zone. Never say hello to you until you get it on the red line overload. Never know what you can do till you get it up as high as you can go. Always where I burn to be. Further on the edge, the hotter the intensity. Highway to the danger zone. Gonna take it right into the danger zone. Highway to the danger zone. Right into the danger zone.
Wow, he even dresses the part, dude. That's nice.
Great.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Does he have like a list of other songs he does too?
Oh,
like,
yeah. He's got a bunch of them. What's this usually showing talking about doors?
That was a breath of fresh air. So
once you get a bit like that down, you got to run with it. Yeah, he's probably got.
Well, here's like this one. That's a Sinatra tune he does, and it's appropriate too for our topic, I think. Let's see what you think about this one. This is pretty good. Right.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on a Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Fill my heart with song, let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In
In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you.
And that's what you do with a multiple personality disorder.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Oh, it was.
Yeah, that was great.
My great uncle used to sing Frank Sinatra at karaoke. Man, he won quite a few little competitions doing that.
What's
still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Who's
Okay.
talking?
That was me.
That's Cubby Bear.
Roger, there's like way back in the show coming through on your channel, Buck.
Oh, that's weird.
Are you sure?
Wait.
I don't have anything on. Just me and the microphone.
Oh, okay. No, that was me. That was me. I had
get it together.
Up the YouTube tab to see if my link went through and shit.
Something. What are you doing back there?
Yeah, he's fucking everything up. Yeah, I don't know.
Making noodles.
Is that a Coca-Pelli on your shirt, Self?
It is. It is indeed. I have a lot of these in my house. I have one made out of horsehair pottery. Oh, neat.
I got tattooed on my hand here. I got it on when I was on the waterfront in Portland when I was 18. I got it from like a homemade tattoo artist down there.
Oh, nice. There's down at one of my favorite rock stores down here, just on the outskirts of Luray. There's they've got carved out of onyx different Coca-Pellis, but like one of them's got an electric guitar, one of them's got a bass, and it's like got Coca-Pelli with all different musical instruments and shit.
I got one right here too. Got this big one.
I spent time on the Hopi reservation, so I know the Kachina.
This one's like a steel cut one.
Yeah, that's cool. I got this one.
Do some damage with that.
Oh yeah.
There's my one.
If you need rain, get one of those. They'll help.
Need what?
They're responsible in the Hopi tradition. They're responsible for the rains.
Oh, rain.
The rains, yeah. And fertility.
Yeah. Spring.
Well, the whole thing is Coca-Pelli. I have one right here too.
Oh, nice.
Something like that. They believe that he played this flute and brought the universe into existence, which I think is really interesting because it's the sound frequency, right? Frequency, vibration, and energy. They were onto it, man. Samest thing. You know, there were in the beginning there was a word, and the word was God. Boom. So with a sound, God said, "Let there be light." You know,
the people that are in the ether believe the flute is responsible for it too. It's a powerful thing. There was a physicist that started the whole ether cosmology thing. I'm trying to remember his name, but he thought he could help control the ether with his flute for some reason.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It's interesting. Some people are drawn to the Coca-Pelli. I like him too because he looks like he's hitting a bong.
Never did.
Oh, that thing about Thor's hammer. I don't know if I still have that or not. Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about Thor's hammer.
What does he know about it?
I don't know. Listen, that guy, he's really a fucking flake man. Do you know he did? I think it was back in the 80s or early 90s before he was, the big space guy. He was doing McDonald's commercials and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving it.
I'm loving
Where did they come up with that slogan? I'm loving it.
Yes, too.
Nazis, right?
We used to give people nicknames. We call people like McLovin.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of videos here recently of people really questioning, like how it says however many people are served, each day or whatever at McDonald's and all these fast food restaurants, they're really questioning like where all of the cows come from.
Got that right.
We talked about that on the last show too. It was about the fact that you don't ever see any new graveyards either.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
And these new KFC commercials.
Well, a guy on my Facebook,
talking about it.
Yeah, dude on my Facebook, he in England or something. He said the last new cemetery in London was in 1953. Now, there's been a shitload of people fucking die since then.
Well, and you know what else is interesting is that so many people now opt to be cremated. And so it's like
still,
we do so many a day.
Let's just say that out of, you got to look at how many people die, right? And not 100% of them are going to be cremated, right? So there's still going to be a good chunk. Let's just say that only 20% get buried, okay? You still got a pile of bodies to put in the ground. Because everywhere in the world, every day, people die. We got this thing in the newspaper called the obituaries, right? And you go in there, it tells you all the people that died. And you know what amazes me is how the fuck they all die in alphabetical order. It's crazy.
It was like when the coup happened. When the coup happened, telling everybody that the hospitals were full and all the funeral homes were backed up and they had bodies stacked to the ceiling. And it's like, yeah, right. You should still be working on that stuff.
Yeah, right.
Well, with the cremations too, how do we know that the ash that they give the people is really the body, or if they just like sold it off to the slaughterhouse or whatever and got a big paycheck for it instead of
sold it to McDonald's.
Gave somebody some ash. And then like you just mentioned with the COVID thing, I just heard Pete Hegseth today and talk about how the Trump administration is calling back all the soldiers who got let go because they wouldn't take the jabs.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to give them all back pay and
I'm not coming back
and apologize to them.
I'm not coming back unless you give me my back pay and I get to be the fucking general.
Why did you even go back?
Because they need, they've got some plans, if they need to build up their military, obviously.
So this is Neil. This is the HNIC. Okay. And before y'all go, that's racist. The nerd is not racist. Okay. So being the head nerd in charge, HNIC, is not racist. So shut up, y'all. Anyway, this is him talking about Thor's hammer. Oh, let's see. Oh, of course it's going to be fucking muted. God damn it.
It's got that Eddie Munster
It's been a day like that, man. It's just been a day like that today.
I watched the Thor movie and I'm saying, how much does that hammer weigh? I'm still curious.
Oh,
okay, what does that hammer weigh? And I heard a sentence in the movie that enabled me to calculate how much his hammer weighed. They say, hammer forged in the heart of a dying star? Oh my gosh, I'm an astrophysicist. We deal in dying stars. I got this. I filled out the density and I tweeted it and I said, if Thor's hammer is made in the way the movie says, it has the weight of a herd of 300 million elephants. That's why nobody can pick it up. The Hulk couldn't pick it up. You need the magical powers of Thor to do it. And then I got out nerded. Somebody said, Dr. Tyson is wrong about this calculation. So what happened was, in 1991, Marvel issued a Thor's Hammer trading card where they said Thor's Hammer is made of a fictional material, Uru, and it weighs precisely 42.3 pounds.
So they kind of cheated.
Yeah. I watched the Thor movie and I'm saying, how much does that hammer weigh? I'm still curious.
You're muted, Soph.
Who in the fuck in the world is going to sit there and do a calculation on goddamn Thor's hammer and some fictional material?
That's kind of
what a nerd.
Well, comic book nerds are like that. I go to every comic book convention here in Portland.
Yeah, they're out of their fucking gourd.
They're real big on their specs and details, especially like the whole Star Wars universe and I used to honestly know a lot about Star Wars as well. I used to have that Star Wars dictionary, and I knew more, different planets and different aliens from Star Wars than I did from the real world stuff. Like I spent all my brain power studying about Star Wars.
So that's what our world's starting to look like, is that bar and Jabba the Hutt's, scene. It's like all them fruitcakes we got walking around now. It's like we got all these goofy ass alien looking people, these. I ain't gonna say anything on YouTube, but
I was looking at this, and that's part of that indoctrination. That's like, look what they did, like when they made the 4th Star Wars movie, right? That was stupid. Okay, they had this like some kind of Rastafarian alien thing called Jar Jar, who was just stupid as shit.
Jar
Jar. That was just so the kids. That was for the fucking kids. That really ruined it, man. It really just ruined it. And I was like, they do all this little cutesy pie shit. They started that with the Empire Strikes Back, when they had the little fucking, or what was it, Return of the Jedi with the little teddy bear.
Teddy bear.
Yeah, I'm like, God damn it, man. Come on. That's
They're
enough
part of the
that.
Rebel Force. Sauce.
Oh my God.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, you think Chewbacca, I think Chewbacca went and got freaky with a couple of them little Ewoks. I'm just saying,
Yeah, at the last Comic-Con that I went to, I took my bat Lucille.
Oh my God. Whoever's messaging me has to stop.
And I had a lightsaber battle, me and Lucille, because they bring, some of these lightsabers they make, they're like, several $100s for a nice lightsaber that they make, and then they'll sit there and they'll even, have like classes on how to do different moves with the lightsaber.
Well, it's like that fucking nerd
broke.
Craig. I think Craig knows Klingon. He went and learned fucking Klingon.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, see, Star Trek, Trekkies and Star Wars people are two different types of people. The Trekkies are the more nerdy of the two, I think. Like they're your hardcore, like, science, NASA loving nerds.
And I'll tell you another thing. See, this is the deal. That was programming. Another thing that was kind of pushed the envelope. Did you know that Star Trek was the very first TV show where it was shown on TV where a white man and a black woman kissed each other?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was Uhura and Kirk. They were under some kind of spell.
Did you
and
know
that was
that
really, hey, that was the 60s. That was cutting edge, man. That was cutting edge shit.
But you got to think about it, man. They had a black, Asians, like they had every demographic in there.
Promoting every demographic. Yeah, like this, like, could you imagine though, if in real life you got DEI,
Yeah.
That's basically what Star Trek was a spaceship of
Wokenomics.
DEI hires.
It's Ensign Kenesha. Can you get Starbase for me? I'm on my break.
Did you know Martin Luther King
That is
actually
not my prerogative. I am on my break.
I'm on my break.
And I'm talking to my sister right now. God damn it now.
Who you is, Kirk?
Yeah,
Who
who
the
you
fuck
is?
you think you is, Captain?
Well, what's her name? The black actress. Actually, Martin Luther King supported her career and pushed her to do that.
Nichelle Nichols. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she just died recently. I think she just died. But there again, Roddenberry.
Shoot her ashes into space.
With the Scientology crew. That's another thing too. I mean, it's like this shit they hit you in movies, TV shows. I can remember when they were pushing the fucking Ancient Aliens things first back in the 70s. Okay. And it started out with this, what the fuck was his name? Von Daniken. It was this guy who wrote these books. He wrote Chariots of the Gods. And he was bringing on the whole idea that the gods from like Egypt and shit were actually higher advanced alien beings and had, all this connections to hieroglyphics and all this other shit. And I was interested interested in it, man. I can remember I was a kid and I was reading these books, and then they came out like with this show called Battlestar Galactica, and the humans were being hunted by the Cylons, and they were headed toward a legendary planet called Earth, where they first came from. And it was also sowing the idea that, you know, of like ancient aliens. And it was even in the names of them. The one guy's name was Apollo, and you had Adama, which is actually Adam. And he's the guy that's the leader of everybody. And I was like, holy shit, man. All these, you know, I was like, at the time, I was like on that theory. I was thinking, you know, because it's, and it was mainly because of like a lot of these archaeological anomalies that we see. Like we talk about today, like, you know, how in the hell they build that shit with copper chisels and rock hammers? Get the fuck out of here, right? And that points to, you know, more advanced beings. Well, they latch right onto that and try to sew it into this idea that that these things you see in the sky are giant balls of terra firma, and that there could be other creatures living on it and all this other nonsense, which is in direct contradiction to creation. And that's what they want you to go after. They want you to believe any fucking nonsense other than the reality, because when it comes right down to it, it's not only mockery of God, but getting his own creation to deny their creation. And that's kind of sort of like feeding beef jerky to cows, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mockery.
I was going to say water technology. I think to lean toward that with building the pyramids and stuff. I think they could do it with high pressure water. They could cut stone with it. They could do all kinds of stuff. They could lift it up. They could move it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But
You
what
made me think of
machine were
Laura
they using?
Green just now. Battlestar Galactica. Remember that?
Yeah, the old one. A lot of people might have been thinking I was talking about the one that was not more recent, the remake.
Yeah.
That was nothing like the original. That was nothing like the original. The original, I watched that every week. Every week I'd watch that show. And then one kid on there had a robot dog and shit.
There was Starbuck, and who was the other pilot, the heroes in the story?
Apollo.
Starbuck. Apollo. Okay. Yeah.
Apollo. Polyon. Huh. Interesting. Well, isn't that interesting? Sounds like Satan. Oh. Oh man, where was that? I got
Church
lost.
lady.
Isn't that special?
Well, what was this?
Oh, Dana Carvey ain't been doing nothing in a long time, dude. I miss him. He was funny.
I know,
Him
man.
and,
He's got
Michael
a
Myers.
podcast he's doing these days.
Yeah, he's been doing a little bit of comedy now. He's been doing like making fun of people. I can't think of the word. I'm tired, but
Parodies.
parody. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah, that's another one right there that I got down on my knees and pretend to pray. That's how it is now in the California Dreamin' song. That's crazy. There's a lot. There's themes within that Mandela effect, and we'll get into that one night. Things that have to do with black are often prevalent. Even in clever wordplay, like FAO Schwarz, famous toy company in New York City. In fact, in the Tom Hanks movie Big, he gets a job there at FAO Schwarz. The T is missing. Now, that's one of the things, too, is things losing their T, like Charles Schultz and the like. But
it just goes to RT.
Schwarz means black in German. So there's a black connection in the missing T and the black connection there, and the German connection. So there's some really, really freaky shit when it comes down to that thing. I don't know what to make of it. I wish Brian Staveley'd come back on, but he went out into normie world.
Yeah, man. That guy, man.
Probably best off.
Man, he's another one. He's another one that like really like Which I don't blame him for what he's doing. He's just trying to make his life
Right.
better. But at the same time, like, he was putting out some good content.
Yeah.
Yeah, every morning I wake up and I put on my dose of reality hoodie and I go for a run in it. And it says, "Give me a ring dong dutchie" on the back.
That's fun.
A ring dong dutchie.
That's how I met a lot of people. Even calling into his show is what gave me the confidence to start, hopping on podcasts and doing stuff myself, and meeting a whole bunch of y'all. Was through Brian. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, through his show have kind of migrated over different places.
He actually did a show on me and Ryan when we first started doing stuff with PJ. He called me the Max and he called Ryan the Cookie Monster. It was kind of funny.
It takes some real dedication and some real just sticking to the grind for him to stay away like he has. I know it's got to be hard, especially how much he used to love to fire up the live stream and just start bitching away about stuff and go on his rants.
Yeah.
It takes some real dedication to really stick on the grind like he has. So I admire him for that, because it's definitely it's hard to do away with a lot of distractions when you're trying to get places in life.
Yeah,
you guys are going to get a kick out of this, man. Check this out. This is just real short. Listen.
I just came from the dispensary and now I'm walking to my neighbor's to get eggs from her little stand over there. I'm buying eggs on the street and weed in the store. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, I had the guy I did the landscaping job for. He's an older gentleman today. He came out at the end. He's like, "You smoke weed?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Here's a little tip for you." And he gave me some homegrown that he grew in the backyard I was working in. So
I wonder how you knew.
I know.
It's amazing how
looking at you, dude.
I told him, because here in about a week or so on 420, the band Fish is going to be here in Portland, and
that's Hitler's birthday.
Yep, it is, and and it's Easter this year, so it's an all-in-one.
Oh man, it's gonna be a big big whoop to do, huh?
I'm really excited though for Fish to come here on 420. They've been a huge influence in my life, and so I'm just really excited for them to be here and for them to pick Portland, for the 420, because it is kind of the ganja capital here, and we've got more dispensaries here than coffee shops or churches or anything. It's pretty wild.
I don't know, man. I just always got weed.
Yeah,
my youngest used to work for a dispensary in Everett, I think. It's right. It's in Washington. Yeah, that's big time there.
See, I don't really like the dispensary herb anymore. I think like they do some process to a lot of it now, where they almost like radiate it to do
there's something bad in that stuff.
To do away to meet like this inspection standards, so they don't have to throw out the crop. It's like it's almost like microwaving or whatever. So it takes a lot of the good medicinal purposes out of it. And
I don't think clone is good for it neither. The clones don't really produce the same weed.
I mean, it can kind of, I used to build cloners. I'd take those totes that have like the yellow lids to them, the black totes with the yellow lids, and I would drill all these holes in them, like 24 or 78 different sites, and put the little neoprene discs in and put a water pump in and build, hundreds of these cloners for the farms. And
I grew some shit doing bubble ponics one time. I used one of them big 5-gallon totes.
Uh-huh.
Then you cut the lid. You put 4 holes in the lid, right?
Yep.
And then you put just big enough for these net pots, these little net pots. They're about this big, right? And then what you do is you put those clay pellets in it. You put a water pump down inside, and you run one of those little splitters, little 4-way splitter, and you run a little plastic hose up to go in, running into each one of those pots.
Hang on a second.
And
Let me
you
get
have
my
your
pad and
water
my
and
pen.
you get your water and your nutrients. You get your water and your nutrients full inside the tank, right? And then you just turn it on and put it under the lights.
Yeah.
And when you put your clones, you can put clones in, or you can put new sprouted shit. You put it in there, and it grows, man. Those fuckers grow. And the thing is, you get like these little bonsai weed plants with little fucking buds on them and shit. And when you finally harvest, you open up that thing, and it's like one of those doormats made out of loofah of roots. You let that dry, and you can actually use it like for a doormat. I'm not shitting. It's already in the shape of a rectangle too.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good technique for growing.
Oh yeah, you can do one of those right in a closet someplace, man.
Oh yeah.
You know,
the dispensaries cut all the mystery out of it. Now, you know, it's like you used to have a surprise. It's like, again, get an indica, sativa, a hybrid. It's like,
yeah.
It's like, just give me the weed. I'll smoke it and find out for myself.
It took all the fun out of it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it is kind of neat, you know. Like I like all the different colors and packaging, and you know they've got like sodas.
That's why they get you.
And all the different candy bars and cookies and
that stuff's stupid.
It is, but yeah, it's just it's kind of.
Anybody here ride motorcycles?
I used to ride dirt bikes, but not Harleys or nothing.
I've had a few big bikes. I've had a 750 Yamaha. I had a 500 Yamaha and a 500 Honda.
Well, check out what Kawasaki's come out with. This is cool. Well, or is it?
You know the world is about to take a crazy turn when they start doing unexplainable shit with technology. So Kawasaki, you know Kawasaki, the motorcycle company, just released their new motorcycle. And let me say this, it's not a motorcycle. Matter of fact, look at this shit. And as you can see, it looks like a motorcycle, but it has 4 legs. What the hell do you need a motorcycle with 4 legs for? 4 fully functionable legs. And let me just say this, you could do way more shit with this than you can with a motorcycle. Look at this shit right here. So you telling me they're not getting ready for something? This new robot horse doesn't take gas. It doesn't take batteries either. It's fueled by hydrogen, which means it's going to last way longer than a motorcycle for whatever they want you to use it for. Yeah, okay. And they're saying this could be controlled the same way you control a motorcycle. But they also specified it's used for lifting things. I wonder what they plan on lifting with it. Because who's running up mountains with a robotic horse? Now, what they're saying is they don't have a price for it out yet. But it's not going to be cheap. So most likely it might be in the $100,000 range and up. Will you copy? Pay attention.
I saw that thing. That thing is pretty rad, actually.
You know the world is.
I would ride one.
I'd try it. Yeah.
Oh, this is a real good clip of Elon and Robert F. Kennedy. Check this out.
Really wonderful to have you today, Elon, and have an opportunity to talk to you.
It's okay if I call me. LOL. I mean, it's like.
Well, really wonderful to have you.
That was spot on.
Yeah, that's one of the best impersonations I've seen of both.
I got to question people who believe that guy's a genius, man. I tell you,
I know
it's crazy.
Either
anybody would think that guy is smart.
I've watched
He's
the
a wild
SNL ones they did, just like the last one they did. Mike Myers does Elon, and he does a pretty good job of it too. Elon's not a big fan of it, but
I haven't seen that guy in a while.
Mike Myers. He's taken over Elon this season.
People believe this shit. They think he's a genius because of this.
That doesn't look like real fire. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is the reason Elon won't talk to me anymore.
Now, how in the hell they get all those cuts? How in the hell they got cameras every fucking place on that thing? Everywhere. They got one coming up from the launch pad. They got one over here. Everything. It looks like, what was that show they used to have on all the time where them people was fighting those alien bugs and shit? It was Rough Riders or Roughnecks. My son used to watch it all the time. It's called Roughnecks, and it was based off of that. Fuck, what was that movie? Oh, come on, guys! I know you've seen
The Martians and.
No, it was. There's like these bugs. Starship Trooper.
Yeah, Starship
yeah.
Trooper. Yeah.
Gary Busey's son was in that actually in the movie. Yeah.
And it was based off of that. And my son loved that movie anyways. You know, me and him watched it probably a million times. And not Ryan, not him, Corey, my other son. When he was little, we'd watch that fucking Roughnecks. That's what it was called. And they were fighting the same bugs and everything. And that looks like something out of that. Like, it almost looks like out of Team America. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. It's so ridiculous that, you know, like, people have to be idiots to be able to believe that. And it's like, that's what I don't understand is if all these people on the left that were mad at Tesla, if they would just come to terms with the fact that he was faking these rockets, then they'd be on to something. You know,
well, look, even with the physics, okay, there, as you can see, this cylindrical object's coming down. There are no flight control surfaces. I want to point that out. It has no wings. It has no substantial fins. Nothing. Just fire coming out of one end of it. Now, supposedly they can pivot these fucking things so that it keeps it upright, but that's bullshit. Okay, that is complete and utter bullshit. There is no way. And if you don't believe me, I want you to take a pencil or something and balance it on your finger. Now, you've got full XYZ control. Okay, you got full XYZ control. You should be able to keep that thing balanced, right? And then what you do is you're going to want to take it and try to set it down on the desk. See how successful you are. See what that thing wants to do. It wants to go over. No amount of you doing this, you're going to start to overcompensate and have to go even more the other way. Listen, I've done it. There is no way that fucking rocket is doing that shit and landing someplace. That's just clear, utter crap.
Even when you shoot off a bottle rocket, man, you like, say you take like a soda bottle or whatever, and you put a bottle rocket down in that soda bottle, that thing shoots up and it glides over. It never goes straight up and pops.
No. And you got to have some kind of control surfaces because you got winds and all kinds of other things. And even just a slight change in the trajectory of those jets can affect it.
Yeah.
So,
and then not to mention the speed of the rocket falling to the ground, the weight of it.
Oh,
you know,
my God.
There's the impossibility of the jet propulsion being able to boost it back or even put it to...
if it was propulsing anyway, it would flip upside down.
And then not only that, but like then how does that factor in the spin of the Earth? You know, like if the Earth is spinning,
exactly.
how does it
Especially if
come?
they say like the mass is attracting mass, like
Yeah.
the most mass of that object is the nose.
Well, here's
So
another
shouldn't
thing to consider
it
about that.
go
Okay,
towards
let's
the
just
center?
look at it from an efficiency standpoint. Now they're saying that this is good because they can use it over and over and over. All right. Well, let's see what we got going on here. You got to put rocket fuel in these things, right? Now, the whole thing about having a booster in that engine, right, in stages like that, is so you can get that up to whatever height, right? This one burns out. Now the next one goes, right? Well, that means that this one now can only burn about half or less of the fuel that's in it before it detaches to come back down when the other second stage goes off. Because you have to have fuel in order to land the stupid thing and steer it around and get the Mr. Miyagi chopsticks to catch it.
The thing that gets me about it is that soft landing that it makes. How in the hell are you going to slow it down?
Those little tabs. And let me take a minute. DJ New Moon is here tonight with us. How
Hey,
you
no
doing?
worries. Don't worry. I'm listening.
Right on, right on.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, you gotta figure, and you look at those tabs, and look, I've worked in a fabrication shop with steel. All right, those tabs are not going to be sufficient for that. I'm sorry.
And then for it to fly, like come this way at the end, you know, it's coming straight down, and then all of a sudden, what's making it go like this?
Well, because they slightly angle one of the 33. They slightly angle some of the 33 rocket engines that are in there. There's 33 of those little nozzles. Isn't that interesting? 33.
How come nobody's going and lighting the rocket ships on fire? They're lighting all the Teslas on fire. Nobody wants to blow up any rocket ships.
No,
I think Elon's doing that good on his own, though. Isn't he?
Well, that's true.
No SWAT stickers.
Yeah.
It's funny listening to Trump explain watching Elon land those rockets and the chopsticks. He's like, I forget how he says it, but
well, come on, man.
He says
Anybody, I mean, I gotta say that right there, that's a litmus test. If you believe that, honey, I got a bridge to sell you. Yes, sir. I got a bridge I'll sell you.
Well, you know, the Jack Parsons has some black magic we don't know about. He imparted it.
Black magic, that's racist, man.
Oh, white magic.
Yeah, black magic.
Cadabra, motherfucking cadabra, bitch.
Black magic.
There you go. I just put some voodoo on your ass.
All right, well, I'm jumping off here.
Motherfucking cadabra, bitch.
Be careful.
Hey, good to see you, Rasta. That's what, brother. Blessing, brother.
Good to have you. Right on, man. So here's a cool thing. Check this out. This is wild. Let's see. Do I have that still on here? I think I do.
Can I blow your mind right now? Okay. If the center of the Earth is hot, why is the bottom of the ocean cold? Right? Let that sink in. So you're closer to the source of the Earth's heat, but the water is colder. It doesn't make sense. So Chris and I were talking about this because we were flying to see our sister last summer, and we're going over the ocean. And I said, make it make sense, Chris. Scientists expect us to believe that the center of the Earth is 100% pure lava, which is liquid fire. You can look this up. So shouldn't the bottom of the ocean be boiling water? Well, it's not. It's cold water. So there's only one explanation for this, and that is that the center of the Earth is actually frozen. And if this is a hard thing to believe, you just have to look to the evidence. And who gives us the evidence? The same scientists that try to tell us that the center of the Earth is hot. Can I blow your mind right now? Okay. If the center...
So, does that make sense to you?
No.
Nope.
I don't think they know jack about the center of the earth. Yeah.
What's up, Snowman?
Only got down 9 miles so far.
Oh yeah, and you know what? I got to download this because I have to have this in my little video thing.
Oh yeah. Also, the sun, if it's 90 million miles away, big
93
or
million, actually.
big or not, how it's hot because it's close.
Yeah, well, here's what I think.
That's
Personally,
why.
I've been working on a theory, DJ. Are you familiar with magnetic induction?
I'm still learning, but I know a little because of a flat earth community, but I don't really know.
I've got this thing I can cook on that it doesn't get hot. It merely uses magnetic induction.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's like a microwave, but it's
it makes the pan get hot. Okay, the surface of this thing doesn't get hot, but the pan gets hot because of the magnetic induction, right?
Okay.
And I got to thinking one day, the sun does seem to have a lot of electromagnetic properties to it in a positive sense. And the earth being like a plate. So think of it in reverse from what I have, is that the plate is what's heating up because of the influence of the electromagnetics of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the heat we're feeling. And the in between the two materials because of its reaction with the earth.
Okay.
This is something I'm not saying that's what it is. It's just kind of a thing I've been working on. So
here when we don't have a sun, or if they put chemtrails for 2 days, it's cold, and we need the sun. Everything go hot on the floor, and I can go on foot on the grass.
Let me see. I gotta grab this thing.
Do you think there's any science to the moon being cold, like the light from the moon being actually cold?
I don't know. I plan on doing some tests on that this summer. We'll see what happens. See, because there's a lot of things that people don't take into account.
So what do you got to do? Like a full moon, and then try and check the shadow versus daylight, if you will, or moonlight?
Well, you have to make sure that the ground's not already warm from the sun. There's a whole lot of things controls that need to be taken into account.
But it looked like it's cold, supposedly.
I think you had a point too about the bottom of the ocean. Like there is volcanic stuff though at the bottom of the ocean. There's a lot of cool shit they found. Like in the last 2 decades, they found like life forms down there. Like as far as I understand, like I'm not good with all this stuff. I just hear stuff and repeat it because I'm, I guess, part normie. But they found silicone life down there and stuff that exists without the necessity of light, right? Like,
oh yeah, there's creatures that live down there in the deep pressure that they'll die if they come up toward the. Oh look, there's Andrew.
Like a jellyfish when you bring him up.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's going on, brother?
I was just joining in real quick. I'm still at work in my classroom, but I heard you talking about magnetic induction, and I was actually teaching that tonight. And there's different forms of it. So in electrical wiring, as an example, if you have a hot conductor, an ungrounded conductor that is next to another conductor that is not a neutral, it's called inductive heating, and that's bad because it can cause the other conductor to melt because of the magnetic field and flux lines that are produced through the actual hot conductor, because there's no return current. The magnetic lines of flux are not canceling each other out. And but yes, what you're talking about was dead accurate when it comes to like inductive reactance as an example, and how transformers and motors work. Yeah, that's in magnetic induction. So you were pretty dead on with that.
Like something like, with the sun reacting to whatever that impenetrable area that they ran into with the Great Borehole. You know, that the plate that it's actually reacting with is like right at the base of maybe what this whole thing is built on. Because even the Marianas Trench is no deeper than what that hole was that they dug.
Yeah, that super deep borehole thing. I would actually like to go over and see it one day, but it's it's on the very west coast part of Russia, right by Norway. So that's kind of out of my way to go and see it. I mean, it's all the way across the pond. So,
Mm-hmm. And traveling these days does not seem like listen, I'll tell you, when I went to that thing in Vegas, I went to that flat earth thing in Vegas, I said I ain't never fucking flying anywhere ever again.
I'm done flying.
I mean, I'm serious, man. I'm looking at all these stupid faced motherfuckers standing around looking like animals chewing their cud. No thoughts going on. You could tell there's all flatliners just standing there in line like a bunch of goddamn sheep going through this little maze, letting somebody pick up their nutsack and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
yeah,
here?
Vegas is a
I have
sad
my
place
good
to go
days
to.
and my bad days when it comes to that. Like sometimes I just see it all for the beauty it is, and like I just ignore. You know,
Well,
like, aren't they so happy with their ignorance? You know.
I see. Look, I see. But the thing is, I'll see people, and I have to wonder sometimes because I'll look and they just got this blank ass look on their face. And
sometimes they're doing really kind things, though.
So I'm wondering. I wonder to myself, does this guy have like an inner dialogue? Does this guy, is he even? I mean, does he even have a thought? And I do run across these people that I just call them flatliners because after you interact with them, you confirm your suspicion. And the reason I call them flatliners is because I believe that if you were to hook an EEG up to their head, that it would just be a straight fucking line across going doop, unless they had to shit or got hungry. And then you'd see like a little spike. I mean, I run across people like that. I see them all the time, man. What's
Wait,
going on?
EEG? Do you mean EKG?
No, EEG. That's the electroencephalogram. It measures your brain waves.
Ah, gotcha.
Not the heart.
All right, that's all I had to offer at the moment. I've been listening in the background for quite some time, but
Tell him I want to come to his class sometime and learn some EMF stuff.
Too.
San Jose, I mean, I'll teach you for free. Doesn't matter. I mean, I do. I mean, I still do it.
Go Elon!
Now take a look at what you're dealing with. Look at what you're dealing with now, Andrew. I mean, are you sure you don't want a tuition?
You look like that Ed Bassmaster guy.
He's been saving up. He's been saving up pop bottles all month.
Yeah. By the way, I live.
To whistle
I work almost within walking distance. Actually, no, walking distance from the Tesla factory. And there's so many fucking Teslas over here. Oh my god! Even though I'm not into politics.
For you.
Yes, sir.
I got a question for you. Would you sit in a truck that a man that makes brain implants makes? Would you go buy one of them? Really?
No. I don't trust. I trust
There
Elon
ain't
like
no
I trust.
damn telling what kind of frequency EMF is going on. They got field propagation all through there. Go Elon!
Yeah, but as I always say, this is the last thing, and then I'm signing out. I trust Elon the same way I would trust a caged, hungry, starved wolf in the same cage as me.
For a second.
You think he's that passionate about anything, that he's actually driven by anything?
No. He's an actor.
He's got a handler.
Yeah,
he's got a handler.
I think he's actually retarded.
I believe the same thing.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, I would either.
All right, guys, I'm going to listen in the background. Thanks a lot.
All right, bro.
I got some family members that are retarded.
with that, we have
y'all. You should see.
Hey, you got scared of the way. Way to go, man.
Now let me see you drop it to the flow, drop it to the flow, then. Now lean in.
Wow.
I'm actually interested.
You haven't
in
been
that
partying until you walk home with your ass on backwards.
You read
What's
my mind.
Brian's profession? Is he an electrician by any chance? Sounded like he was. Sounded like he was talking about some electrician.
He teaches.
And Andrew, yeah, he teaches.
He is a teacher.
I've been out of weed all day. I'm pissed off.
Well, that sucks for you, bro.
You messed up.
Yeah, go
I thought he was a Klingon when he came in. I thought I saw a Klingon mouth on him.
Go, Leah. Yeah.
What's that character's name anyhow, bro?
I don't know. He
Ed
changed it.
Bassmaster. It's Ed Bassmaster.
Bassmaster Fish.
How y'all doing tonight, man?
Got one of them. He's got one of them singing basses on his wall.
What did they sing? The song? You could program anything into them, couldn't you? You could have it
Yes.
play any song you wanted.
It was like about a minute and a half recording. You had to be quiet, and then it would do it. It'd play it after that was over. Yep.
Did you guys see that? Where the fuck was that at? There was this cop. She ran. I think it was in Florida, and she ran up on this dude because she thought he was armed. I don't know what her reason for running up on him, but ran up on him with her gun, tackled him, and while she's trying to get him handcuffed, she's got her gun and her finger on the trigger, and she shoots her own fucking partner in the leg, man.
Oh, that was something different. Then.
I was training these
What?
people,
Yeah, man, shot her own partner in the leg.
That sounds like
You
some
know what?
shit I'd probably.
Can I say one too? I saw one that. Sorry, guys. I saw one that was very equally as DEI or whatever. They pulled a guy over, and in the States, like this is Canada, we're not allowed to have sidearms. Da da da. The cop pulled him over, and he goes over the passenger window. He says, "Oh yeah, I stopped you, this and that." He's like, "Oh well, okay." And he exchanged words with him, and he goes, "Is there anything in the car?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm strapped." He's like, "Well, where is it?" He goes, "Well, it's on me." He goes, "Okay." He goes, "Well, you're being really cool and stuff like that." And he's like, "We're just going to disarm you." And this is kind of recent. Anyway, she goes to grab the gun from the fella because they don't want you to touch it. And
Shot
so
him in the leg.
shot him right in the leg. And I thought, this can't be real either. Like, holy.
Yeah, she had her finger right on the trigger and pulling the gun out of his concealed thing and shot the man in the leg.
Yeah.
Another ponytail. This one was a ponytail too. I mean, listen, I'm sorry. Women just should not be police, man. It's just all. See, therefore, there's other things in life they can do, like dance and sing.
Speak behind a pulpit with a bunch of lies, though. It's all right.
She got no. I don't putting that microphone back.
Why do you think they use women for like what is it, like Secretary of State or something, where they address the nation? They got all the media in the front and stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about press secretary?
Yeah,
there's been a few dudes.
Yeah. You know why they use a woman?
Yeah, because it calms everybody down and it's disarming.
The circle back chick. Remember the circle back chick?
Yes.
Oh God, Saki.
Oh my God.
No.
Saki.
Oh yeah.
No,
Hey, do you know why women rub their eyes when they wake up?
What?
No.
Because they don't have any balls to scratch.
That's terrible.
There goes half the audience. Just kidding.
Yeah, no doubt. Sorry, chat.
All three of them.
We'll get back at you.
All three of them.
No, shit. Shit, that's cool. 180 some nights.
Hey DJ, good video. I checked out your new video.
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah, it's not a music
'Cause you
video.
got it.
It's just a song, and I put some animation.
Mhm.
But, the music video, it's each new moon. So next new moon, it's the 27th.
Oh, okay.
But-
I get it.
But thank you, Chicago Beer. I listen this song like 10 times a day now since 5 days. Yeah, I make song and I take time like to make the video after. But
So is this,
every time you hear a song, I hear the song maybe 50 times when I edit the song, the video or whatever. But
Sometimes it pops up. You know what?
Is it the
Just to
one
hear the
called?
intro.
Is it the one called Underneath the Heavens?
well, and it's short.
It
Each
says
week,
it's 3 minutes 17
Yeah, I
seconds.
think
yeah, each week or each 2 week, I release like a lyrics video or just a song. But each month, each new moon, you're gonna see one electronic music. I'm not spoiling any styles, but it's
Right.
gonna be electronic music. But this is not electronic music.
Is this one? Is this all right to play?
Yeah, you can play.
Yeah, this is more like
And
Renaissance.
there's another one. It's like a rock, jazz, and you're gonna really like it. So it's a Enoch 77.
That's
Okay.
Another time, if you want to
DJ,
watch.
were you here when I showed that guy that does those acapella?
Yeah. I was here.
That was that amazed me, man. That was pretty cool. I thought about you, and I thought about somebody else. I was trying to think. I thought about Conspiracy Music Guru. You know, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, they got all that equipment. They should do some shit like that. You know?
Yeah, he just put out another one too, actually.
As the editor, I know how they do stuff.
I mean, I
when
play
I see
guitar and
something, I
sing.
know how they do it.
I play guitar and sing, and that's about, you know, I don't like to get too much into the technical aspects of it. I let somebody else do that shit. I just have a good time playing and singing. And that kind of thing.
You haven't played in a long while, dude. You should play some more.
Yeah, my guitar's in the other room right now. I could go get it, but I'm not going to tonight.
I used to play a battery. Ben nous on dit batterie, ben a drum and synthesizer. Sorry, I'm not English. I have
synthesizer. I have trouble with
that.
Hard to say.
Tam tam, you know, percussion, and yeah. But I always want to play guitar.
Well, let's check this song out. See how it is.
Let's go.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to turn this up, dude.
In the days of old, tales of land have been told. The earth lies flat as we walk on her face. No curve nor spin, this steadfast place. Sun and moon danced overhead, as stars shimmer in dreams unsaid. Flat as the horizon, we stand so proud. Underneath the heavens, we sing out loud. The earth does not move, we stay in our grounds. Around us, the cosmos spins round and round. Legends of giants, horizons so wide. No distant curve, just a flatland ride. A world that holds secrets within its embrace, as the sun and moon find their rightful space. With each day dawning, we see the light. In this ancient truth, our hearts take flight. Flat as the horizon, we stand so proud. Underneath the heavens, we sing out loud. The earth does not move, we stay in our grounds. Around us, the cosmos spins round and round. Sing the truth of land so grand. In harmony, let us take a stand. The cosmos unfolds a majestic show. Stillness of earth, we find our flow. As the horizon, we stand so proud. Underneath the heavens, we sing out loud. The earth does not move, we stay in our grounds. Around us, the cosmos spins round and round.
That was nice. I like it. I broke out the owl.
You're muted,
for
Sob.
that.
Oh wait, yeah, I like that song. It's pretty cool.
It's kind of Renaissance or like Celtic
is.
or something.
Yeah, I have another song that it's not electronic. It's Enoch 77. One time, if you want to play it,
Oh,
you're
yeah, he wants us
welcome.
to watch that one.
It's like rock, jazz, with the Egyptian flute and
I
electric
like how the
guitar.
rabbit and the owl were there, and they
But
looked
it's
like the
soft.
owl and the rabbit were friends.
Yeah, I like it. Enoch. That's one of his better videos. I like it.
Yeah, it's about
Goes
the
into
new
detail.
moon and the sun. Yeah. The Enoch 77, the entire 77.
Is this
one to-
always in there? Hold on a second. When you
It's
go
about
to
what the sun and the moon are.
when you go to somebody's videos page like that on YouTube, I just noticed a little search thing. You can search your videos for a keyword. I
No
never
way.
knew that was there. Is that new?
Yeah. You go in video section and you go on the tab and you search for a video for the
Yeah,
sun.
I didn't know that was there, man.
Well,
I think it's
Well,
fairly.
we're talking mechanics here, guys.
Yes, it's
If
this one.
If I get the YouTube premium or whatever, can I download all my videos? Because like I need to like recover them. Like fuck.
If you pay for premium, I got premium now. That's how I do my show.
So I can download them to like a card or something.
I just get a downloader.
Yeah, you can download it. You can get like real time or whatever. And
I got a thing called
Oh,
iTube
okay.
Go. I got a thing
Yeah.
called iTube Go.
Yeah, that's a plugin. Plugin, you can just press a button, it's gonna download.
Yeah,
You
but
don't
you
need
have
the
to be
website.
premium. Yeah, you have to be premium.
Yeah, it's a program. It comes right on the. You put it up. You just open it up, and all you have to do is copy and paste the video URL. You
Yeah.
just copy the address into the thing, and it'll start downloading it.
Oh, I have one, okay. But you can download an entire playlist, even if there's 1,000 video.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it download all the video super fast. If you have a good computer.
As long as you're not Austin Whitsitt, you're good to go.
Yeah, it takes a month to download a video.
Who was that today? Mr. Cheswick put out some TFE opera.
Yeah.
Did you guys
Tom
happen to
Hawkins.
check that out?
Not yet.
Oh my god!
If it's
pretty-
TFE, no.
it's talking about he did this opera about Jaron and all the rest of them going down on the TFE, and he's got Craig in it, and he brings Brenda in, and it's fucking hilarious.
Put some Shakespearean drag queens.
Yeah, I think he did that before they left for it. I watched him put it together. He did it live, so he worked hard on that. Yeah.
That's pretty. Yeah, he did. It's pretty long. It's pretty good. Anyway, there's DJ New Moon, Enoch 77.
All the time that the moon isn't progress with its light, it is part to the presence of the sun until its light is in 14 days completed in heaven. wholly extinguished, its light is consumed in heaven. And on the first day it is called the new moon, for all that daylight is received into me.
Okay, I'm triggered a bit. Can I go first?
You're tripping, huh?
No, I said triggered.
Oh,
So,
triggered.
Yeah, if I may, like,
You sound like
so-
you got your face in a pillow.
Oh.
Like turned into Moody
Is
Blues.
it any better? Because I think the mic comes off the phone, and I'm just. But
I
the
think the
question
star
was,
and the sun thing was really cool. I was unmuted, but I laughed out
I
loud
love the
when it
art.
came on. It
I
reminded me
like
of
the
something
art.
when I was a kid. It was pretty cool.
I thought the visuals were tripping me out, but I have
Yes,
really good.
trippy. Very
I
trippy.
was going to ask what his fascination is.
I got a way good buzz.
So are those all his animations? Did he make those animations or?
To the best of my knowledge, yeah.
He's right there. You can ask him.
He's right there.
I'm here.
Okay. I didn't even
I'm
see.
the cat.
I thought I see your icon change.
You turned into a cat.
I thought you dropped out. You good?
Yeah. It's not me. Those website I use, but
Oh, I got you.
yeah.
And you make
What's
clips out
on
of
the
it.
new moon?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
See, that's new
usually
stuff. Like you on some new school stuff, dude.
Who's echoing?
someone is echoing. Where is he?
I have no idea. I think it's Snowman. Nope, it's
It's a new
Porter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me. Sorry.
Damn it, Porter.
You're fired. You're
Yeah, I
fired.
was wondering what your name was. I wasn't going to call you Civil Coalition of the New World Order. So DJ New Moon, buddy, I was just curious. What's the new moon? What does that mean? What is a new moon? Like, is there like
this is an old name I have since like one how to say in English?
It's like menstruating.
I used to go in the dance in the club when I was young, at like 18 years old, and I just have this name like New Moon because I start being DJ at the school, and I stopped school. I was dancing, whatever, and then I learned to scratch and be a DJ on turntable, and yeah, after that I play in the club and everything. But yeah,
Are you
it
in
started
America?
with this, and I have a YouTube channel since long time, but it's deleted. And it was DJ New Moon, so that's why I still have this. But I changed name like 3 times, but now I'm back with this name. It's really weird.
Yeah, the artwork on the moon though, like I see the moon that way. When I look at it, I see these like shadows and like almost like continents. And I've even with the naked eye seen the I don't know if you've ever seen the beach ball effect, where it looks like the radius, like the way they say the globe is with the longitude lines. It has like a beach ball rib to it. I've seen that before with the naked eye.
But I'm on a
question
mountain here. It's a really weird view. I see sometime like kind of a double. Yesterday I saw, 2 days ago I saw the moon, half moon in the light blue sky, and the other way it was the sun at the same time.
Where you located?
I'm like 1 hour, 2 hour from Quebec City, in Canada.
Okay.
I used to live in Montreal.
Cool.
I got a question for Snowman right quick. Have you ever seen the lunar lander on the surface of the moon?
No, my eyes ain't that good, bro.
Oh shit.
I looked for the flag for about 10 years now, and I ain't found it.
I think it faded. Now it just kind of looks like the moon, so it's hard to see.
Yeah.
All that sunlight it gets.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever see this clip where Dave Weiss he tricked this NASA globetard
Hold on, Saab, I got to ask you one question. Was it you that sent me this video about the dude that was looking through the telescope at stars, and then he said, "Okay, so they say that they're this far away." Then he gets his telescope on a very clear day at a certain elevation, and he looks across to see how far the telescope can actually see. And dude, it's like it's not far at all.
Well,
You know
the
what I'm
thing,
saying?
yeah, but see, that's the thing about that. When you're looking up, you're not as subject to as much atmospheric opacity as you when you look laterally. Okay,
Right,
when
right.
you look laterally straight, you're looking through the densest, moistest, water dust filled part of the entire gas pressure system.
Oh yeah.
So that's going to limit your view. But no, it wasn't me that sent it.
But I think the point was the lensing was blurring out mountains that were like not but a couple hundred miles away. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, it was like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The stars are not far away. People say,
That's
well,
it.
where is this containment?
Yeah.
Where is this containment of yours located? And I'm like, well,
Right.
it's right up above you.
That's
And
right.
so I've never seen it. I'm like, yes, you have. Yes, you
Well,
have. Look up
can I
there.
make a?
I'm talking, Snowman.
Yeah, I know.
Well, don't interrupt me. God damn it. So when you're looking up at the sky, those stars and all that shit that never change and always rotate around the same way all the time, year after year, month after month, decade after decade, century after century. What the fuck do you think that is?
Right.
Well, I know what you think it is. You think it's a bunch of balls of gas, trillions and billions of miles away and light years away and shit. Well, that's nonsense, bro. That's nonsense. You're looking at it. Boom. That's it. When they say the sky is the limit, the sky is the limit, man.
That's right.
That's for real. Now, what'd you have, Snowman?
Well, two things. It's a lot of to do for nothing, first of all. But secondly, I was just going to mention about like I don't like to comment on the physics of things because I get to the point now where I'm almost in the simulation side of things, which means things need to be rendered and sometimes they don't. But like I've driven for 200 kilometers on a southbound highway, pretty straight, like it's whatever highway it turns, but it goes south. And on the horizon was these like just like Mario Brothers, like almost a perfect like 4 bubbles on the bottom and a nice arch on the top of it. And they had formation, like there was a few of them. And they stayed in formation for the 2-hour drive over 200 kilometers, right? This cloud formation that I saw. So you're telling me I drove for 200 kilometers for 2.5 hours, and those same clouds were just visible the whole time, right? Right, and then so like hear me out. I'm just saying 200 kilometers ain't shit. 1,000 kilometers isn't far, really. Like when you talk about down to earth measurements, right? It's
Well,
just
that's
kind of
all
what
there are. That's all there
Yeah.
are, down to earth measurements. These numbers that they come up with are designed to fucking blow your mind. Okay? They don't exist. I mean, you can write down a number, but as far as the distances that they talk about, there are no distances like that.
Well, they do it with everything.
This is why I say a million times over, the fucking astronomy is not science. Okay? It's not. Astronomy is not science. And looking at the sky all the time to determine where you're at and thinking that you're out in space and all this other fucking nonsense, it's just distraction. It's total distraction, man. But this is really good. This is Dave Weiss Fooled. These are some NASA globe lovers, and this was great how he did this. Watch, it's real short.
Why don't we see any land when we're looking down at the ocean from the space station?
Why? Because you're over top of ocean.
Okay, well, don't you think they could be fooling us with this picture?
Okay, I give you this.
Wait, watch the picture.
I know that.
Watch the picture.
I know
Watch
that they airbrushed some stuff.
It's not
up.
airbrushed. This is us in our front yard on a solar panel, and we tricked you, showing you how easy. We have zero budget. They have $65 million a day, and I tricked you. What about this? NASA says, these are new planets, okay? Would you believe? Why would you believe that?
Why wouldn't you?
Because they're frying pans. They're the bottom of frying pans. Why don't we see any land when we're looking down at the ocean from the space station?
But see, it's all through suggestion. He says NASA says these are all planets. Okay, well then they must be. You see, he automatically says, well, why wouldn't you? He says, because they're all frying pans. The bottom,
was it
right?
him that did the thing with the flat too, like the flat? I'm trying
Yeah,
to remember how. Yeah,
the different one,
yeah, just the way you turn them a certain way, you know. But,
yeah,
right.
I mean, those are fucking great, you know. But that's the thing; it's all through suggestion. You know, it always
And
comes
trust.
with a setup.
You got to trust
Always
them.
comes with a setup.
I can't trust them. Not after.
No, you can't.
No.
There's a pilot that admits Earth is flat. I think.
There's tons of them, man. Although I can't find. Yeah.
But I'm getting ready to shut this puppy down here. I've been going 3.5 hours. That's about enough. 333.
Right on the mark.
Right.
Wow.
Oh yeah, so okay, can I say my piece now and get the fuck out of here? So the thing is, they got the square the circle, right? These Mason guys, they got the square the circle, right? With the compass in the square, right? Then so Saab talks about like the flat Earth, like it's like they cut a piece of the pie out and they couldn't, like the pizza pie, and they couldn't fit it back together again, right? It's just a simple, stupid math thing, but 33 and a third, right? Or whatever, 33rd degree. So cut that same piece of pizza into 3 even pieces. Mathematically, right? You can't. You end up with 33.33333. Like you can have 66.66666 percent of it, or you can have, 9, whatever it is, but you can't actually do it. Like you can't give, like you could have 99%, but you can't have 100% because you can't break that pie into 3 equal pieces based on that simple math system, right? Like it's just a weird, stupid thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow, that's
But
pretty.
that's what I think they use this mindfuck chaos of that concept. I think is why the 33 is what it is, and the 66, right? But that's just me. I don't know. Anyways, I'm out. I don't think it's a conspiracy at all. I think it's a fucking fact. Yeah, that's what it is. Have a good night. Sorry. Hope I didn't scare you all. I'm out of here, man.
All right. See you. All right then.
Bye.
Oh, come on. We're having a good time. Yeah, but I'm tired, man. I've been up I got up early today.
Did you work today, son?
You know how old guys are when they gotta get up early.
Yeah, it was grubby fucking shit we had to do today too. I don't even want to talk about it. It's pissing me off. But anyway, anybody got anything to throw in there before I shut down?
I'll just say one thing, unless somebody else was gonna say something.
Go ahead.
Anybody know? So earlier, people were talking in the chat about a fallen flat Earth soldier, old Zulu one, and I didn't know him as well as some. And he used to have a trivia show on YouTube every Friday night, but he was a good guy, and I just want to say rest in peace, Zulu. I know you got one of these saws.
I do.
Would send these to people when they won the trivia show, and it was just a really cool. I keep it on my keychain, so there's always a piece of them here.
Cool.
So rest in peace.
I've only watched his show twice. That's all I've only ever seen him.
Yeah, it was a fun little escape on a Friday night. But
yeah, he was a good dude, man. I got my little flat Earth like that is in my my little treasure box on my dresser in there. So
yeah, gone too early, like a lot of them. But
oh yeah, well, I'm a type of person, and it's like I look at death a lot differently than I always have. I look at it a lot differently than most people. It's not the end.
No,
okay, it's not. You're just not doing this anymore. That's all.
They want us to think that like you're not important, so you just live to buy stuff and be fast because you don't come back or you don't go somewhere because the heaven is somewhere in space with a god in a galaxy far away. Where is God? there's no God if there's a space. If there's space, you know.
That's right.
So but we know now. We know, like my song, you know.
Yes.
No way.
You know, once you realize what this is and you realize the reality of it, you know, and you realize that there's no doubt that this is created, and you go, well, why was it created? And you realize it was created for us. It was created for me. I'm at the center of the show, man.
That's right.
I'm really more happy now to live because
hell yeah.
I don't think about that now, you know.
Yep. Yeah, and every time I hear him talk about some stupid asteroid coming near the Earth or whatever, I just laugh, you know, like, oh my God, that's dangerous. I said, there's no such thing, bro. No such thing as that crazy.
You don't hit the panic button, Sarah. Like, oh, we got to do something.
Yeah, keep people in fear.
An asteroid the size of 33 sheep are narrowly about to okay, right. 33 sheep, right. Okay. When did we start measuring things in bovines? You know, I'm like, I don't understand. All right, guys. Hey, and don't forget tomorrow. Don't forget tomorrow night at 8:00 on this channel here, I will be debating a guy from Facebook. What was his name again? Hang on. See.
It's not worth remembering.
Mike Vargas. Yeah, that's it. Well, there's so many of them.
I was just kidding.
There's
Who's
just
moderating?
so many of them, you know.
Yeah, Cubby's moderating, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm moderating. No, I'm just
All right.
I don't have Facebook, but
You can you can do that if you'd like to.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll do that.
That'll work. Just,
I'll
you
be
know,
fair.
just remain
I'll be fair.
impartial. You got to call out any, like, you know, we don't do ad homs. We're not going to do none of that dumb shit. No interrupting over the other guy while he's talking, that kind of shit, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, and that'll be tomorrow
Hold them
night.
to their claims, guys. Hold them to their claims.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. So he's he thinks he's gonna, you know, really do something here tomorrow, but that's fine. You know, it'll be an interesting discussion. A lot of people will be able to see what the globe has to offer, and see if it. We'll see if the globe holds water.
That's right.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. And don't forget, the Lord loves a working man. Don't trust Whitey. See your doctor. Get rid of him because he'll probably kill you. And if you heard the shot, it probably wasn't meant for you. We'll see you next time on Sovereign Soul, Unchained Mind. Don't forget about the debate tomorrow night. We'll see you.
Hey, how are you glow-tards doing? Just wanted to check in from how you were doing when you all learned about me, when you were just little wee little ones, and you were too stupid to question anything, and you know, just wanted to check in to make sure you still believed in me. You still believe in me, right? You better still believe in me, because if you don't, I'm gonna call you names, like you still live in your mama's basement, and you better not breed. That's okay. I know you still believe in me.